Hello.
Hi, everybody. Cheers.
We are live. Cheers. The drink du jour for me today is Sierra Nevada Torpedo. Or Torpedo.
I've got some Witchwood Brewery Hobgoblin IPA, which is very nice. But I have some Black Sheep Yorkshire ale in my cold bag here. So
no, you're saying Yorkshire. I thought it was Yorkshire.
Yorkshire. Yorkshire.
Apparently, I thought I figured this out,
Yorkshire.
but apparently not.
Or you could say Yorkshire if you want.
Well, I know not to say that.
Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
Yes.
Farnborough.
Oh, we used to love the guys in the F-111s letting down in the United Kingdom in a low-flying system. In my days, you used to have to put a broadcast out on the low-flying frequency. Two F-4s entering low-flying area 12 at, wherever. And they used to call two F-111s entering low-flying area at Harwick. Harwick. Hoik is how you pronounce that. Oh.
Would people say, that'd be Hoik?
Exactly. Generally.
Nobody would say anything.
No, the first thing we would do is head straight for Hoik so that we could shoot them down. Because, you were allowed to engage targets of opportunity. That was right. And the other thing that they used to say was if it had ST in front of it, it's an abbreviation for Saint. So Saint Ab's Head. ST Ab's Head. They used to say Sit Ab Stab's Head instead of Saint Ab's Head.
But was there any like space or
yeah?
Like
on the maps there's a space. Sometimes a full stop to indicate that it was an abbreviation, but not always. And the other one was a place called Start Point, which they then started calling St. Arts Point. Which I always thought was hilarious. Yeah. It's not fair. I mean, if you put me in a foreign country and I'll make just as many faux pas.
Yeah.
You got to feel sorry for them.
Well, not really. Not that sorry.
No, certainly not. Not that sorry. No. Not many F-111 navigators, no.
Okay, so it looks like Steph's going to be another 40 minutes. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So about 41
Well, we're only
minutes.
going to do 2 hours with Steph today, yeah?
Yep.
So why don't we hang around for a bit?
Hang around a little bit?
Yep, if that's okay with you.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
And the rest of the world.
Yeah, hope our live audience doesn't mind.
Good point, actually, yeah. We shouldn't have told them. we should just be said. Well, we'll be going on. We're starting in just a minute. I've just got to fix this first. Hi, Tanya.
Wow, delay out of this world. Oh, are you talking about the delay between the real time for us and the time that you actually see it, Eric? Because I think it's like a 25-second delay, something like that.
Just looking to make sure my audio still has its 4-frame delay. Yes, it does.
Okay.
Does that work, by the way? I mean, do my lip sync okay with the video?
Yeah.
I've still got that same 4-frame delay that we decided was appropriate.
Yeah, that worked out before. I'm not using the Blackmagic ATEM with my current setup, so I'm not doing that. I think he's talking about the delay between when we're actually really live and what he is, like maybe they're putting some kind of comment in and the comments are delayed.
Okay. Oh, hello, Pip. Pipperoonie. How's your knee, by the way, Pip? Are you going to still be able to do this marathon? Because I'm a bit worried. I'm thinking of asking for my money back Actually, I don't know if I've even given you any money this year. I must get round to that.
Oh, is he begging for money again?
Yeah, he is. He's crying into his
For a good
microphone.
cause, right?
Asking, well, so he claims, yes.
Yeah. What is he claiming?
The pilot officer PIP retirement fund or something. I think it's called.
Okay. Well, might as well be upfront about it. Or transparent, they like to say. No refunds.
Well, that's a good job I haven't given you anything then. Actually, I might have done last year. I can't remember. I'm usually pretty bad at that sort of thing.
How's that exposure? Do I need to go ahead and do manual?
Well, you're looking a bit bright in your.
I know. I'm trying to get the brightness out of my face. Here, now I'm going to go to manual. Let me turn the gain down.
What you really need is, have you got a suitable diffuser on your light source?
Yeah, it's like a softbox. What I need to do is get that a little bit further away.
Yeah.
But I have furniture there.
If you,
let me see if I can figure that out.
If you've already got a softbox on it, just move it far away. You might have to make it a little brighter, but I think.
I can't.
Can
it's
you?
Like one intensity.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Pip's suggesting you put a black ski mask on.
Thank you for the suggestion.
I think he's actually referring to a GIMP mask, but.
What's a GIMP mask?
I'll tell you after the show.
Okay. Family show, huh?
Uh-huh.
Uh-oh. That's no good. Oh, wait a minute. Is it now showing up in the reflection?
I can see it. I can see it in the window. Yes,
That's what I
can
was
see.
asking.
Sorry, I was in the process of getting a picture of a GIMP mask to send to you, so you knew what it was.
Yeah, so I can't put it over there, obviously.
Jeff sorts out his.
Liz is saying it was fine. Is it still in the reflection?
I'm still GIMP masking. Yes. I think it would actually be better to move it over to the other side of the room, because that way it would be completely away from the window.
Fine.
Oh, God. Where's it going now?
Oh.
This is when you hear a great big crash, and then it all goes quiet, and that'll be the end of Captain Jeff.
There goes my security deposit.
Almost gone. Well, because you had a little bit of overexposure on the front of you. Yeah, I know. I have to agree, Neville. Video is, or images, that's pretty good. It's not an obvious problem.
Now it's like...
But it's a quick bit gloomy. Have you got auto exposure on?
Well, hang on. Let me go back to aperture priority, but now it's all coming.
Oh, that's okay. That's not too
from
bad.
That side.
What you need is a whiteboard on the other side to bounce back a bit of light on the other side of your face. But I think it just gives your face character. We can see all your wrinkles.
Oh, great. Good idea. Thank you. Thank you for your help.
Because you know what they called it when you get nice even light on both sides of your face? They call it they call it glamour lighting. because the ladies always like it because it doesn't show the wrinkles on their faces.
Oh.
Ah, the wrinkles on the faces of the ladies of the harem of the court of King Galacticus, so just passing by altogether now.
Alrighty. Okay, well, I'm not happy with this.
That's a kid's song, that is. That's not a rugby song, so don't worry.
Okay, Liz. Right,
Scintillating stitches from the boys on something breeches.
And then
Can't remember that.
See about turning up the intensity.
Oh, you've got a nice blue rinse now. That's good. That's very attractive.
Well, that's from my lights, the overhead lights.
It reminds me of all the old ladies in hairdressers.
Oh, well, what color should I make it then?
Well, it's purple. It's just making your hair look a bit odd.
Oh, like that. Hang on.
You should probably try and make it white.
And that. There. Oh, it should be brighter than that. I don't know why it isn't. Oh, because the shade, I guess, is too dark. All right, well, that's good enough. What should I make it, you said? White?
White is probably better than purple.
Yeah, but I thought it was cool.
Yeah, except when it colours your hair. You've got some nice highlights in your hair now. That's good. That's fine.
All right, good.
You need a green screen, though. Other than you can have cool
like I need more stuff here. That I don't have enough room for the stuff that I've brought up here, honestly. Need to get a...
Well, you're going to have to start calling it the kitchen studio, like Plain PT UK used to.
Yeah. Well, I could turn around and point the other direction into the living room. You know, it's all one big giant space. Okay. It's it's not like a huge cavernous. Actually, it's a pretty good size. Okay. Well, enough messing with that stuff.
Oh, by the way, I've sent you a picture.
Okay. Oh.
I don't know if it's going to get through because sometimes I have trouble sending pictures.
Oh, yeah, I see. Oh, that's... Yeah. That is... no, I think I'd prefer a black ski mask over this.
Yes.
So how are you familiar with this particular item, Nick? I'd like to know.
Neville Bounds.
Julie likes you to dress up like this?
Neville Bounds told me all about it.
Is this from the Neville Bounds collection?
It is, absolutely.
Okay. Is it something that I can share with everybody?
Probably.
No?
I don't know. It depends how broad-minded our audience is.
Well, I mean, if I just did like here, I'll just do a really quick. Oh, I don't know why it's not showing up. Oh, I know why. Okay.
Probably because YouTube has got a...
What?
That's probably because YouTube's got an algorithm that instantly cuts it off. Yes, yes, exactly right, Neville.
Although honestly, not that I've ever seen any of those movies that you're talking about, but I don't recall him ever wearing anything like this. Maybe because my attention was
you never saw
elsewhere.
Him. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm sure
really
in his private time.
No, he is not an attractive man, as far as his face and body is concerned, other than one part.
Yeah, very true.
And of course, we're talking about his brain. You people, get out of the gutter. He has a beautiful brain. Okay, where are we? We have a whole bunch of really great people in our chat, and then a few questionable ones.
A few dodgy ones.
Ne'er-do-wells, yeah. But it looks like everybody is, for the most part, on the tube, on the YouTube.
Good.
That's good. But whoa, Nick is flying around. It's sweet. Yeah, I went ahead and put that in the calendar. I don't know if you noticed that. Okay.
Put what in the calendar?
Ahmed, you need to come over to the bright side, the light side.
Dark side.
Not the dark side, the light side, which is the YouTube side. Whoa, and Nick is flying around his video.
I'm trying to get a nice suitable image here where I can appear to be in the cockpit.
Look at that. That's fancy.
Oh,
Look at that.
need to be just a little bit bigger.
Yeah, that's what she said.
And then, oh, not that way, not that way, that way. That's it. That's not bad.
That's pretty cool. Look, come on, no hands. So right now, put your hands up. Okay, Nick is actually flying the airplane with his knees.
Yeah. I can do a lot with my knees, you'd be amazed.
No helmet. Yeah, well, you know, he's living on the edge, living dangerously.
Blast.
Yeah,
that was a mistake. Right.
Hey, if you're just joining us, no, Tanya's been here for a while. If you're just joining us, we're just kind of vamping. We're just kind of fooling around because we're waiting for, what's her name again? Steph. And
yeah. Doctor.
You know,
if
that
you get
one.
stuck, just call her doctor.
The doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully not. Anyway, we are planning another two-parter. Rick is in the simulator, and I don't think he'll be, unless he does extremely badly or poorly, or does so well that they just go, you know what, 15 minutes is all we needed to see. You're good. And we're out of here.
Exactly.
Otherwise, probably not going to see Rick today. We're planning on, now this is going to be the tricky part. I leave on a trip tomorrow morning, and then I get back into Atlanta on Friday afternoon at around 3 o'clock. And I have to get on the train to get my car and then drive from there to Roswell. That's another 15 minutes or so, 20. Actually, it's a Friday. Anyway, so the traffic is going to be horrible. And then I'm going to try to record a session with Rick between, these are like very, what's the word? Well, I know, but I mean, the time is going to be somewhere in the 4 o'clock-ish range to about 5 o'clock-ish Eastern time on Friday, hopefully. And that way we can get his input for episode 488. Well, I don't think that he can because he's got to get some rest, some sleep before, I guess he's kind of getting up in the middle of the night kind of thing. Yeah, but see, the prayer, the evening prayer service that I'm singing in starts at 7. Oh, 7 o'clock his time. Oh, yeah. We might okay, good. We might be able to do that recording afterward. Then afterwards. See, when I saw him say 7 o'clock, Liz, I was thinking Eastern time. But you make a good point. No, yeah, he's going to be in Portland. I think he said Portland, Oregon, right? Okay. Yeah, so maybe. Oh, 20, 21, 22. Okay, that'll work out because I don't think that the evening prayer will last more than. You okay? Yeah?
We're going to leave right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll come tomorrow.
Okay.
When you going to leave? Or when you going to
I'm going to be leaving in the morning.
tomorrow?
Yeah, early in the morning.
You're going to
Tomorrow.
come back the same day or no?
No, not back until Friday.
Okay, so we're going to paint tomorrow morning this one, so it's going to be dry, and you're going to come over here so we can walk away, and then because it's hard to paint work.
Okay.
So you're going to come tomorrow?
No, I'll be leaving like really early in the morning.
Okay, that's fine anyways. If he's going to come tomorrow, you can go walk that side. But we're going to paint this floor tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
so it's going to be wet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Steve said he might come by tomorrow to fix the shower faucet.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Take care. You too.
All right. I don't know if you could hear what he was saying.
Yeah.
Well, it starts at 7. It's probably going to be, I would imagine, probably only about an hour-ish. Yeah. So that would be out at 8. So 8:30 to 9:30 might actually work better. Okay. We'll play it by ear. And you know what? Probably won't be a lot. There won't be a lot of notice for everyone as far as advance notice. Okay. Yeah.
You can play Liz's audio for us.
Yeah, I could. That's right. You can.
Because this is a very odd sounding conversation.
I know. I wish I'd thought of that. So, Liz, I'm going to go ahead and put your audio in the stream right there.
Oh, don't tell her.
Oh, okay. Don't forget what I just said, Liz.
I'll
Don't
clean
worry
up
about
my
it.
act.
But she'll know because as soon as she starts
It's
talking,
more
she
fun
can
when
hear-
she swears.
She can hear herself though. Say something, Liz.
Hello, everybody. So we'll let you know in the Soch meets when we know what we're doing on Friday.
If we know
Yeah.
what we're doing.
Wow.
I'm not
Always
here
that
next
possible.
week. I'm going to be away.
Oh yeah.
Ray,
That's right.
says everybody.
You're going to be in Yorkshire,
Cornwall.
Yeah.
Cornhole.
Cornhole. Yeah.
Yeah, wrong Portland, main man, Micah. The wrong one, right?
I'm
The
going to
one
be in.
that they're having all the unrest, unhappiness.
If you say
Isn't that over now?
Portland over here, we all think of cement.
Well, I mean, we have Portland cement as well, but when we're talking about locations, we think of cities. Here,
Ah, okay.
there must be a
People would
Portland
first
over
of all
there.
think of the West Coast.
Yeah, that's
Well, there is a Portland. That's where the cement comes from. That's where they discovered the stuff that they make cement out
I
of
did not
over
know
here.
that.
That's why it's called Portland cement.
How about that? Interesting. I did not know that.
There you go.
Okay, so yeah, I think that it's going to work out. We'll get it done maybe even a little bit before I have to go to rehearsal, and then maybe the balance when I get back to the Roswell house.
Oh, we had great minds think alike, Liz.
Exactly, we did.
Neil Lernwan lives in a cement factory.
He lives in a cement box.
Yeah.
All right.
He swims with cement shoes on.
I was just wondering, has anyone got any show titles? I could start working on the picture.
Well, we haven't done the show yet, so they don't know. Well, here, let me.
That's never stopped Main Man Micah.
That's true. Well, here are some of the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the Navy Wings Hawker Sea Fury that crashed.
Hawker.
Hawker. Is that better?
Hawker.
Hawker.
Yeah. You don't
Hawker.
need but quite so much emphasis on the
Hawker.
haw bit.
Hawker. Wait a minute. Let me try something. Hawker.
How was that going to make
percentage
it
is that
better?
I was just
Listen to
trying
me.
something.
Hawker.
Hawker.
Yeah, Hawker. Oh, well done.
Hawker.
Hawker Sea Fury. Hawker Sea
Sea
Fury
Fury.
T20.
Anyway.
By the way, Liz, have you noticed
Yes,
that
sir.
every time Jeff comes up to something he's not sure how to pronounce, he blends all his syllables and then lets the volume trail off? Have you noticed that?
Yeah, and he sort of always, no matter where it is, he sort of puts an English accent on.
Yeah, he does. He puts a very funny accent on. I understood that.
English. I can't even do an English accent, so it couldn't be an English accent.
No, you can't.
Oh,
See the
she's
kind of
cruel.
abuse
She's cruel.
This is the kind of crap
dear.
that I hear constantly during the show.
I just think you should be more confident. Just pronounce it the way
Go
you
for
want.
it. Yeah, make
right.
it sound like you know what you're doing, and no one's going to
Exactly.
worry.
Like all those BBC announcers, they don't know what they're doing.
No, exactly right. Yeah,
Yolverton.
that was a bit
right?
quick.
That was good.
Yeovilton.
Yilverton.
Yo.
Yo.
Yovelton.
Well, no, I think okay. It's gonna be at home base at Ovaltine, England.
Ovaltine. Fair
I
enough.
like Ovaltine.
Me too.
That's very close to Yovelton.
Yolverton. Anyway, okay, so we got to have that, and FAA grounds Virgin Galactic spacecraft Branson
Well,
launch
hey!
investigation. Yay! Way to go, Virgin Atlantic. I mean Virgin Galactic.
Well done, FAA.
Yes.
It's only sour grapes.
Okay, I don't think they really care, but maybe. Let's see. There's a crash of a Cessna Citation up in Connecticut. Connecticut.
What's that movie? Something.
Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court.
There you go. What great
Starring
minds think alike.
Danny Kaye.
That's right. Yes, and didn't it have Bing Crosby in it, or was it just Danny Kaye? Didn't have Bing. No, it had. Who was his sidekick though? Might not have been Bing. Might have been the other one.
I think
Bob Hope.
She's researching
Gene
it.
Kelly, maybe?
Well, could have been.
Gene Kelly. Laurel and Abbott? No? Okay. Anyway, that crash. We're thinking show titles here.
Nick, you were right.
Is it?
Ah.
You weren't right. Oh, yeah,
No.
Bing Crosby,
Bing Crosby. Okay, you're
Rhonda
right.
Fleming, William Bendix. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
It's not
there
the
you
same
go.
One as Danny Kaye.
Danny Kaye did one, a similar sort of thing where he was, in medieval times, but I don't think it was the same one as Connecticut Yankee.
Okay. British Airways considers new short-haul subsidiary amid pandemic strain.
There you go. Mike Kuipers. Danny Kaye was in The Court Jester.
Oh, we should have gone to Mike
Oh,
right
very
away.
good,
He's the
Mike.
expert.
Well, I didn't see him in the chat room till right then.
Ah.
And
If you have any question about
Main Man
movies,
Mike, a little bit behind the drag curve there, Main Man, but got there in the end. Good job.
coming in last place.
Yeah. We love it.
Let's see. And then what else? We have some feedback. We're gonna talk about jet engines and rain. And that's with Rick.
You're going to leave that for Rick?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I didn't think your answer was satisfactory.
Fair enough.
Glen has some audio feedback. I forgot exactly what he said because I've spent a while since I've listened to it. It's been in our show queue for a while. Fargo APG.
Yes. Gary Surprise has sent in some
Surprise.
feedback, I see. Yeah.
Who?
Gary Surprise.
Oh, no. Yeah, okay. That's right. Gary Surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise. Get it right.
Fair enough.
Global X, some new airline.
We thought Rick might comment on that.
Yeah. Texas, Anla'Shok, Civil Patrol. I don't think this is really going to help them at all with title suggestions.
I don't either.
Now that I'm thinking about it. Oh, wait a minute. This is a potential good one for a possible title. We have a story about someone that the TSA is calling the Groundhog Whisperer. Rescues a groundhog at Washington Dulles International Airport. So that's a potential idea. Something about groundhogs. Groundhog Day. And then there's another good one, the vodka burner video.
I haven't listened to that. Is that any
We
also
good?
prefer to be
76.
vodka drinkers.
Vodka drinker, yes, we do. And I'm so inclined to repeat what you are saying to me, Liz, forgetting that everybody can hear you. So okay. And then the thing about Micro, the pilot and the passenger. Nah, that's not a good show title. Travel tips to London. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think it's going to have to do something.
Goodbye, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's the show.
Yeah, that's it.
See ya next week.
Bye.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We
Hope
need to
our
have-
ratings improve.
What ratings? We don't have no stinking ratings. Let's see if we can find.
I like being in a cockpit and having a drink. It's good.
Hang on. Okay. Hey, hello. Hey, hello. The show's over. We don't need you. We don't need the slack.
Okay, but I'm dripping wet.
But it doesn't matter. Just use the towels over there, please. Okay.
Ew, Jeff, you said you didn't use the washcloths.
I don't know. Could you hear that one all right?
Yep.
Okay. I haven't bumped up the volume on these yet.
Jeff,
Bump up the
if I
volume,
could
bump
walk
up the
over there,
volume.
I wouldn't need the talcum powder.
Wait a minute. Okay, here. We got to listen closely.
Jeff, if I could walk over there, I wouldn't need the talcum powder.
That was a little low.
I know.
Volume.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't fixed these because he recorded them at very low volume to kind of simulate him being
At a
away
distance?
from where I am, at a distance. So, like, here's the original good shampoo.
Jeff, do you still have some of that good shampoo?
Okay, and then here's the one I fixed up.
Jeff, do you still have some of that good shampoo from the last place?
Okay, so I just need to take the time to do that to all
Much
these.
improved.
Yeah, and I need to do that. Should be something on my. Would you remind me, Liz, that Jeff, you need to fix those Hillel spots.
Jeff needs to work on Hillel. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Oh, and by the way, we did receive Liz received some feedback from one of our listeners with some good. Who it was Texas Charlie, right?
Yeah.
I think with some more ideas for Hillel to yell at me.
There's some good ones.
Yeah. Woodchucks on the runway. Woodchucks on the runway.
What's a woodchuck?
Well, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Yeah, exactly. So what is a woodchuck?
It's
another name for a groundhog.
yeah, groundhog.
Ah, okay. Now it's beginning to make sense, Mainman Micah.
Oh, Steffi, where are you?
Well, she said 45, so she still has 12 minutes. Oh, wait.
I guess it's good news. She's not checking it.
And what a beautiful cock it is.
Still makes me
16 inches high.
Wow. That's a lot.
very impressive.
Oh, that's true.
That's true.
The girls.
And a lot of people listening to the show would probably have the same feeling about us.
You obviously have a wonderful economy with words.
Or actually the opposite. We do not have an economy with words.
Oh, we try not to.
Well, a very large economy.
It would be a very short show if we did.
Here, well, let's back up here. Talk about this again. Or... Oh, I thought that was your boing. Guess not.
Nerd alert!
What the hell
What
was
was
that?
that?
It's from Austin Powers.
Nerd alert!
Nerd
All
alert.
right. Nerd.
That was kind of loud.
Ow.
Yeah. Sorry. Still loud.
Ow.
Okay, let's try it like this.
That's okay. Ish.
Волг-Днепр.
That's the name of that.
That must be Moscow Airport.
Yeah, that's the name of that. The Volga. What? How's that again?
Волга-Днепр.
Dnieper.
Волга-Днепр.
Volga.
Big plane.
Новосибирск.
Внуково.
Since she's supposed to be
Шереметьево.
teaching you how to pronounce things, it would be better if she took her head out of that bucket.
Yeah. Well, they don't. They're not using a.
Do you have
great
the one
microphone.
for Siri Jawa?
Oh, I hope so. Where is that? I do love that one. Thank you.
Me too.
Srivijaya.
Srivijaya. Srivijaya. Srivijaya.
Sounds like she's singing when she says it.
Come on, man.
Well, that could be singing.
Just send your cash.
That sounded like the No Tams Are Garbage guy.
Oh, yeah. Very similar accent. But this is actually our President Bush.
Just send your cash.
Oh, here. That's all I'm playing of it.
Yeah, so that's too late already.
They probably snagged it already.
Yeah, got that. Yeah, you're stuffed.
Dun 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 dun.
Would you like to fly in
We're playing
my
the version by the
dangerous
sixth
balloon?
dimension.
Yeah, not the fifth dimension. This is the sixth dimension.
Oh, I mentioned
That's
balloons in my plane tale.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
The Gordon Bennett balloon race
Oh,
of
What?
1924.
oh yeah, I remember it well.
In fact, I have a picture. Can I put it up, please?
Sure.
I have a picture of the trophy, which is kind of amusing. It's a bit Ron Jeremy, I always think.
Oh,
well, I
a little
always
phallic?
think. Well, yeah, let me see if I can find it. There it is. I mean, if you got that as a trophy, what would you think?
I would think.
16 inches high.
Yes.
And I know what Nick thought.
Very impressive. Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's been half melted down, but there you go. That was the Gordon Bennett balloon race trophy.
Kind of a saggy balloon, if you ask me.
That's what
Yes.
I think.
Tanya
Yes.
was. Oh my. Oh my. Tanya.
Oh, and
recorded yourself saying
we
that.
mentioned
Oh
a very
my.
famous American today as well.
Okay.
A member of the he's the guy in the front with the aviator sunglasses.
Is that Rick?
Could be, could
Does
be.
he have an ironing board?
There's no iron.
I'm looking to see how big his watch is. It looks fairly big.
Yeah.
Could be Rick.
I wonder if Rick knows that we keep playing the video of him ironing, because I don't think he ever watches the show.
Not many people do watch the
That's
show.
true.
Yeah.
I love
You
that
can hardly
video.
blame them. Yes, it does look like that, Tanya. Bobsled Hoover?
I've got to
Bobsled
go back to
Hoover?
comments.
That's what
Very
I Haul
clever.
Boxes is.
No, he is the son of a first baronet
Okay.
and an
No
American
idea.
and an Olympic gold medal winner. And the first baronet was then a Lord Beaverbrook. Lord Beaverbrook's son. Does that ring a bell?
Canadian. Yep. Famous Canadian.
Beaverbrook
Aiken.
might have been, but this lad was an American.
Huh?
Yeah.
Don't know.
An American who swore loyalty to His Majesty the King. Oh,
Are you
are you
expecting
going to tell me
guess
that
who this
Beaverbrook?
is?
I'm just going to.
On the Smolensk crash.
I'm just
That would
going
be
to
excellent.
confirm.
I think you're a little amiss there. The
You reckon?
American was named Pike, wasn't he?
No, the American was named Fisk.
Oh, Fisk. Okay, all right.
Oh, like I'm going to Fisk it in post.
Yes, exactly right. An American combat fighter pilot and Olympic bobsledder.
And
Yeah,
trader.
Fisk.
Fisk won gold as the driver of the US bobsledding team. And he also acted as the Olympic flag bearer in 1932. So I think he was American.
Do you hear that sighing, that noise?
Yes,
that Liz
I know.
Makes? She does that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. I hear that a lot. Okay, moving on.
Moving right along.
Moving right along. So it should be very soon that we'll be able to start this thing. You know who's going to be upset? Okay. Right now, I'm looking at you, Nigel. And just so you know, this is not, the show has not started yet, but it will soon.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be
He's going to complain
complaining
about how long we've been videotaping. No, we're not even taping. Videoing.
I'm just wondering if I've actually... There are 2 William Fisks.
Oh, you're talking about
No,
Bill
Max
Fisk?
Aiken was
Billy
the
Fisk.
Beaverbrook connection.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
All right. Bill Fisk. Ah, God damn it. Would you believe it?
Yes.
All right, hang on a
No.
minute. No, that's a different bit of Fisk. Anyway.
Make up your Fiskin' mind, man.
Yes, I know. William Fisk.
Fisk is a 4-letter word.
It is.
So, William Fisk was an English painter, an American politician, an Australian politician, a drawing master, an American football player and coach, and a character in the film The Ambassador's Daughter. Got a lot of Bill Fisks out there.
And his last name is a 4-letter word starting with F and ending in K.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
Unless there's an E. Is it F-I-S-K-E?
No,
Or is it
it's
F-I-S-K?
definitely F-I-S-K.
Okay.
Neil says, are all those people doing all that at the same time?
Yeah, very talented. Multitasking.
Want to see a nice hurricane? We
nice.
get hurricanes
Pretty
in
calm and
England.
sunny.
Yeah, they're a little bit different than the hurricanes we have here.
Yeah, look, more hurricanes. There's a UFO there.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Oh, Tim Van Ram's got a good point there.
There
What's
is
that?
there
A
is
Fisk approach at
so the Fisk
Oshkosh.
approach
Oh,
at
I
Oshkosh.
wonder.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
wonder if that's who it's named
for
after.
Bill Fisk.
Oh, who can find out who the Fisk approach is named after?
Well, if we had some very clever people in the live
Chat
audience,
room.
in the
Yeah.
chat room.
Yeah.
Oh, Ahmad would love to stay longer, but unfortunately, I got to go hit the sack for an early start.
Ahmad, yeah.
What time is
you
it
should
over
be
there?
You should be sleeping so you can go to
Probably
work
a
at
couple of hours later than where Nick is, right? An hour or two. later?
It's usually, I think it's
Yeah.
just
A
an
little
hour in the summer.
hour? Okay.
Might be 2 hours in the winter. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm glad you were able to join us for a little bit,
Well, yeah. Sorry you didn't get to hear anything of the show.
but this is actually better than the show, I think.
Yeah, I
It's
think the
different.
jury's
It's
out
better.
on that.
Well, once he's gone, then we can talk the truth about it. But let's just let him think that this is better.
Yeah. You enjoy going to Abuja. I got some great pictures. I never found that the people in Abuja were terribly happy to be photographed, though. They kind of balked at the idea a bit. But there you go. Oh, JJ Pittsburgh. Is that the real JJ Pittsburgh?
Well, it's one of the JJs. There's a JJ Pittsburgh, a JJ not
So many of
Pittsburgh, who's in Tulsa, and then there's a JJ in Asheville, with whom I'll be meeting tomorrow night, perhaps, for a quick drink.
Mr. Boxes, how did the town Fisk get its name?
Now you're getting into multi-layers.
Yeah. But I mean, because Fisk might have been named after Billy Fisk.
Could be.
I can't see anything about the Fisk arrival is named after.
Well, I would imagine if it's near the town of Fisk, Wisconsin, then that would be a good guess. But now, as Nick said, what was the town of Fisk named, or how it was named? What was it named for? It's Fisk's all the way down.
I'm going to be completely
How about the
stocious
show
by the
title?
time.
I'll Fisk it in post.
Yeah, that's going to be
how you
really
would-
easy to
I'm not sure
illustrate.
How you would illustrate that?
What's a fisk?
Or just me
can I
with
have a
with
picture
a
of a
t-shirt
fisk?
on, and then instead of saying I'll fix it in post, I'll Fisk it in post. There you go. Just
Can
me
you get a
in
t-shirt like that made up for me?
Well, no, I think you could probably do it with Photoshop a little bit faster than me making a t-shirt.
All
with
that effort. All that effort I have to go to do that.
that. Okay, sorry.
Oh, what have we got? We got a Discworld reference that I have missed.
Discworld.
Discworld, yes.
We're saying Fisk, not disc. Neil.
Oh.
I don't know.
Why are you
what he's talking about.
referencing Discworld? Discworld, a brilliant series of hilarious books, are written by, when he was alive, the world's most prolific author. Hi, she's here. Thank God. I'm just ready for bed now.
I am too.
Okay, Jeff,
I'll pull you.
mute me now.
Good job.
Oh, okay.
Good job. It's a short show
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
and a busy day.
Yes.
So if you need to make some dinner arrangements, you can do that for 2 hours from now.
Me? No, I had
Yeah.
no dinner arrangements tonight.
Oh, okay.
Just, yes.
All right. I need to turn off the Liz piping into the StreamYard. Okay. Now say something, Liz. Okay. Do you hear yourself? I can. Fisk means metonymic occupational name for a fisherman or fish seller. I like the fish. It's good when you broil it.
Broiled fish.
Lutefisk.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, lutefisk.
It's
Very
from
good,
East
yes.
Anglia, so it's English, not American.
True. But Liz was making the point. I think it was at Norwegian or some Scandinavian countries have lutefisk. I think it's Norway. Lutefisk.
I would have said metonymic.
Well, I didn't know how to say it actually. So
No, I
just
don't
kinda
know how to
guessed.
say it either. Someone tell me how to say that.
Metonymic.
Can we begin now, by the way, before
Metonymic.
Steph fades away?
Fisking for Gophers. That's a cute name. Fisking for Gophers. Although I don't know, we'll have to, I guess, at some point in the show, have a discussion about Fisk to make it make
Yes.
sense.
Right.
Oh well, whatever. We were trying to come up with. Well, you probably were listening, Steph.
I was
Heard
not
our
listening for
discussion.
about the past, I don't know, 10
Who
minutes.
can blame her?
We were
Been
trying to come up
absolute
with
garbage.
show titles.
I was
Lutefisk.
trying to get my keyboard to work.
Lutefisk. I'm sorry. What'd you say, Steph?
Oh, I was trying to get my keyboard to work.
Oh, is it working?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the battery died, but it doesn't take batteries. It just charges off of a lightning
So
charger.
you just plug it in.
Yeah, and you would
It
think I would
charges
have.
off lightning, and you haven't had any storms through lately.
Yeah, well, we haven't had any of those, but you'd think I'd have a lot of those cables around with all of the Apple products in my house.
Yeah.
But you would be wrong.
You'd be wrong. Couldn't find a single one. Took me 10 minutes trying to find one. Couldn't log into my
boy.
computer
I
without
love
my
it.
keyboard. So, yeah.
Oh boy. If it
Welcome
not one thing, it's
welcome to
another.
my afternoon.
Oh, right. You can tell us all about it in getting to know you.
Nah,
But
it's
right
not that
now,
exciting.
Jeff needs to go click where.
Okay. Start your recorders, and while you're doing that, I'm going to play this, and I'm going to blow your ears out, I'm sure.
You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
Yeah, it's
Too
pretty
loud, right?
blowy.
Pretty blowy. Okay.
You're listening to the...
Didn't, who was it, one of the F1 drivers used that term, blowy, and then he kept giggling so much for the rest of the interview. That
That'll
he
be
couldn't-
Vettel, probably.
No, it was one of the British drivers. They got a McLaren, starts with an N. The young
Yes,
Norris.
I know who you mean.
Liz,
Anyway.
do me a favor. Stop eating and talking at the same time. Are you? I hope you have some kind of a screen on that microphone. You do. Okay, good. Oh no, I'm just kidding. I was just joking around. Discworld rests on the backs of 4 elephants. Elephants down on the back of a great. Oh my gosh, it's turtles all the way down. Wow, that is obscure. Man,
it's Discworld for you. It's very funny.
I don't know what that means.
It's
I don't know
very, very funny.
about.
Well, you ought to read it. It's they're not big books, and they have large letters, so even Jeff can understand.
Even
them.
I can understand. Thanks. Oh, so nice. So nice. Okay. So I'm thinking that we should get this thing going before Liz starts cracking her whip.
I'm back in the cockpit.
Oh, look at you. Look at you. Okay.
Fancy.
Need to get that. No, where is it?
Your cockpit window that doesn't seem to hold you inside of it.
It does. Does ever do that?
Okay. Well, put to the side. You can escape. Oh, I thought it would. Okay, never mind.
If you see, bearing in mind I'm in a box, if I go up there...
Yes, that's what okay.
That's the corner of the box, you see. So I try and avoid putting my hand there.
Yeah, don't put your hand there. We're online.
Okay.
We're
right,
streaming.
fair enough.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Don't do a Jeffrey Tubin.
Oh, God.
Please don't do that. Okay. With that, I think we're ready.
Reference has gone. Oof.
Yeah, we'll tell you later.
You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
The view from our side of the cockpit door.
WAPG. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Airline Pilot Guy, episode 488.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Hello, you're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show, the view from our side of the cockpit door, with your host, Captain Jeff, broadcasting live from Studio 1A at APG headquarters in Lake Burton, Georgia. Today's show is recorded on the 7th of September, 2021.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy. Put your light and he's flying by. With the Airline Pilot Guy.
In today's episode, the FAA grounds Virgin Galactic pending an investigation into a flight problem. 4 people die in the crash of a small jet in Connecticut. More news, your feedback, and today's plain tale, the Millionaires Mob. So get all settled in. Tray tables and seat backs in the upright and locked positions. Electronic devices powered on. I'm Radio Roger, and Flight 488 is ready for pushback.
Thank you, Radio Roger Stern. He's an award-winning TV and radio reporter, currently at the #1 all-news station in the nation, 1010 Wins in
New York City!
You're watching the Airline Pilot Guy Show. It's an aviation podcast covering and listening to latest in aviation news and answering your great feedback. I'm Captain Jeff, a pilot at a major legacy airline based in Atlanta, Georgia. And joining us today from her lakeside studio in South
Kakalaki.
a doctor, skydiver, marathon runner, strength training junkie, IPA connoisseur, and commercial multi-engine instrument rated backstabbing jumper dumper. It's Dr. Steph. Dr. Steph.
Sorry, I was on the wrong screen and I didn't realize I had unmuted myself. Yeah, I've done this before a time or two. Good to be back. Looking forward to a great show.
Just a couple. Yeah.
Yes.
Since, what, 2015?
Yeah, something like that. I know how the mute button works.
Do you?
No.
Yeah.
No. Need a
Well, you know what?
remedial session.
Why don't you work on that? And while you are, let's introduce our other co-host for part 1 of episode 488. He is in his studio.
In Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire.
Professional photographer, former RAF, RAAF fighter pilot, retired Airbus A330, A340 captain for Virgin Atlantic Airways. It's Captain Nick.
Hi there, Jeff, and hi, Steph. You've been working too hard, young Steph. No, I'm not there, actually. I'm in the cockpit of an F-18.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get on with the news.
Stand by for news.
It's a very quiet F-18 cockpit, I have to say.
I've got out now.
Okay.
But it was quite
shut
quiet,
down.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless you took
Maybe
your
the
helmet
noise
off.
Insulation.
If you're wondering what he is talking about, you need to watch the video, and you'll see him in the cockpit of the F-A-18 or F-18. Whatever, one of those. But let's talk about the news. First item here, we talked about this when it happened. It was a crash of a Navy Wings Hawker.
It's a Navy Wings Hawker Sea Fury. Nick, say it with us.
Hawker Sea Fury.
Say it with
not
us.
a hawker. It's not a hawker anything.
Sure it is.
Hawker.
That's what it says.
Hawker Sea Fury.
Sea Fury.
Okay,
That's right.
I know a way to get around this.
It's like
a Navy
it's
Wings
not a
Sea Fury.
Jaguar. It's a Jaguar.
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 I give up with you. That.
It's a Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Jaguar. No, Jaguar.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be quite a show, I think. All right. According to this article from Warbird News, am I saying that correctly? I don't know. As we noted earlier this month in our update on the Navy Wings collection, the organization was assessing the future of their Sea Fury T.20 VX-281, which was involved in a serious forced landing following engine failure near their home base at Ulveton, England on April 28, 2021. Or as I like to call it, Ovaltine. Thankfully, neither aircrew was seriously injured in the accident, with the naval fighter absorbing the brunt of the trauma. However, Navy Wings report in their latest newsletter that their insurance underwriters have formally declared the aircraft a write-off.
Boo.
Yeah. Due to the extensive nature of damage to both airframe and engine, the charity has determined that the financial demands of restoring VX-281 would exceed the price of purchasing a replacement, which is not economically viable for the small organization to consider. Consequently, or consequently, if you prefer, Navy Wings has made the reluctant decision to sell what remains
No one prefers.
to assist with funding the future, as the newsletter states. VX-281 will live on, Doug, as she still retains plenty of structurally sound material for another organization with deeper pockets to work with in her rebuild. Navy Wings do still have another Sea Fury in their collection, though, this being single-seater FB.11 VR930, so the magical sight, sounds, and smells of this type will still be well represented in British skies for the foreseeable future. Furthermore, the organization is now looking into the acquisition of a Supermarine Seafire, the navalized variant of the Spitfire, as a possible replacement for. See what you've opened up this Pandora's box.
It's going to be painful.
My
There are
listeners,
people leaving the chat room in droves.
Well, to be honest, there weren't that many there to begin with, so it's not a big loss. With the sale of the T.20 and other assets, this might be a viable option and presents exciting opportunities for the airshow attending public in Britain. While Seafires are rare indeed, there are a handful of possible examples available in the UK and the USA. Time will tell, of course, but it is a tantalizing possibility and one well worth supporting. And that last 4 words there is a link. I have a feeling it takes us to their website where you can donate to
GoFundMe, I'm sure. No.
Navy Wings.
Yep.
Yeah, navywings.org.uk.
Yeah, navywings.org.uk/support-US/donate. Wait a minute, just the US has to support? No, it's okay.
Well, you guys got much deeper pockets than us.
Obviously.
Yeah.
All right.
Do we, though?
Anyway.
Well, I love the idea that they could end up with a Seafire. That would be brilliant because, like they say, they are pretty rare. Because most of them crashed and fell into the sea.
Oh, that's no good.
Well, the Spitfire was not an ideal aeroplane to land on a carrier because it's got a fairly narrow wheelbase.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a bit of a thoroughbred. You know, you want something big and clunky, really. If you're going to plonk it down on a carrier, and the Spitfire was hardly that. But they made it work as best they could, so fair enough. Yeah,
Something with beefy legs.
Yeah, you want something nice and sturdy.
Yeah.
But it's sad that they're not going to be able to repair this aircraft. We were very pleased to hear that the guys got out safely, and that was fine. They survived the crash landing. But like they say, the true enthusiasts who want to own a proper warbird with a heritage, they really only need a label from the inside, and then everything else will be built around that, and they'll call it the original airplane. But I think there's probably heaps of material left to create a new version of the VX281, so that some fine millionaire can say he is flying the original airplane, which is great.
Yeah. There are lots of millionaires out there that I'm sure could...
Oh, there's a whole squadron of
fund
them.
the cause. Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, nice teaser. For
nice teaser, yes.
Yeah.
Well done.
And there are a bunch of billionaires out there as well, spending all kinds of crazy money on rockets.
Yeah.
And speaking of
segue
that,
there as well.
what a great segue. Our next item in the news, the FAA grounds Virgin Galactic spacecraft, the Branson launch investigation. Dun, dun, dun. This is from CNBC.com. The Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, grounded Virgin Galactic on Thursday as the federal regulator investigates the company's previous spaceflight that carried founder Richard Branson. Oh, wait a minute. Is this the one where I'm going to read the other article?
The second one, yes.
Okay. During the historic spaceflight of Sir Richard Branson in July, near the end of the burn of the VSS Unity spacecraft's engine, I have a Unity on order, a leisure travel van Unity. A little bit different though.
Huh?
Never mind.
Nick and I are
That's the
not
name
certain.
of the RV that I have on order.
Oh, are you going to paint it red and write Virgin all over it?
And
Of
is
course.
the FAA going to
Ground you.
Ground you for
Yes,
doing
you can't fly
flight
in this
deviation?
RV.
They're going to be watching closely the lateral confines of the
Yes.
restricted area.
Absolutely, yeah.
Anyway, getting back to the article, a red light appeared on the console during the burn, near the end of the burn. This alerted the crew to an entry glide cone warning. Pilots Dave McKay and Mike Masucci faced in a split-second decision: kill the rocket motor or take immediate action to address their trajectory problem. This scenario is outlined in a new report by Nicholas Schmidl, a writer with more insight into Virgin Galactic than any other journalist in The New Yorker. For his recently published book, Test Gods, Schmidl had unparalleled access to Virgin Galactic and its pilots. And by the way, I'm reading this article from Ars Technica. Okay. Here's a quote from Schmidl's book. I once sat in on a meeting in 2015 during which the pilots on the July 11th mission and others discussed procedures for responding to an entry glide cone warning. C.J. Sturkow, a former Marine and NASA astronaut, said that a yellow light should scare the SH blank blank out of you because when it turns red, it's going to be too late. And that's exactly what they saw during this flight with Richard Branson on board. As they accelerated to Mach 3 in July, the pilots knew that if they cut the motor, VSS Unity would not climb above 80 kilometers, and that the founder of Virgin Galactic, Branson, would not beat Jeff Bezos. Bezos? You say tomato, I say tomato. To space.
Depends on
Cutting
your
the
accent,
motor.
I think.
Pardon?
I said depends on your accent, I think.
Oh, I guess it does, yeah. I'm going to say Jeff Bezos.
There you go.
Don't start again, right? Cutting the motor would be an embarrassment for the company and its founder. They did not abort. Instead, they attempted to get the vehicle back on a safe upward trajectory so that it would be in position to safely glide back to the runway in New Mexico. The pilot succeeded, and Branson's flight landed safely. However, in doing so, Unity flew outside of its designated airspace for 1 minute, 42 seconds. That may not sound like much time, but it's more than 10% of its flight after being dropped from a carrier aircraft. A Virgin Galactic spokesperson acknowledged that the company did not initially notify the Federal Aviation Administration, which is investigating the deviation. The troubles during Branson's flight come as Virgin Galactic is attempting to prepare the spacecraft for its next flight, carrying several members of the Italian Air Force later this month. It's not clear to what extent the FAA investigation might affect that timeline. Let's see. The difficulties also highlight the analog nature of VSS Unity's spaceflight, which relies heavily on the skill of its pilots as opposed to the automated launch and control systems of Blue Origin's New Shepard vehicle or SpaceX's Orbital Crew Dragon capsule. The publicly traded company has told investors it plans to conduct more than 100 flights a year to become profitable. Virgin Galactic officials told Schmidl that the firm's top priority is the safety of its crew and passengers. Let's see. As part of his new report, Schmidl also notes that the principal source for his book, Test Gods, Virgin Galactic's lead test pilot and flight test director Mark Forger Stuckey, was stripped of his flight duties after the book's publication in May. Stuckey played no role in planning for Branson's July 11 flight. He is quoted as saying, no, I had nothing to do with it. Actually, I just made that up. He watched Branson's flight from the runway. It was the first mission for which he had no responsibilities after more than a decade on the program. 8 days after Branson's flight, an HR manager booked time on his calendar and then fired Stuckey over Zoom. I know the feeling. Anyway, yeah, it goes on. If you want to read the rest of the Ars Technica article, I guess the Virgin Galactic's, in their defense, they said during this entire flight, they had some representatives from the FAA, like with them, seeing all this happening, and they didn't say anything.
They didn't give them a phone number to call?
No, they should have.
They should have. That would have been classic.
That would have been brilliant. Yeah. It's a bit emotive, this, isn't it? So a yellow light should scare the SH out of you.
The bejesus.
Because when it turns red, it's going to be turned late. It turned red. So
and it
red just means you're going to fly out of the designated airspace. Okay, so either they needed more airspace to conduct this flight because the flight was conducted safely. They returned without any problems. They just, exceeded the limits of the cleared airspace that they were flying. Now, I would like to know much more about that, how big the airspace is, what problems there were if they went out of it. At the altitude they were, who they're going to bump into.
So it's Class E airspace up there anyway, above flight level.
Good point.
600.
Yes.
So, but I'm thinking the problem was on the. It doesn't really specify, but it was on the
last part of it, maybe the
coming down into more control there as well.
Yeah, below 60,000 feet or whatever,
somewhere
45 or
in that,
whatever the limit is.
Yeah,
we should know that.
Yeah,
it's flight level 600 is the upper limit of Class A airspace, then down to. Yeah, so somewhere in that flight level 180 to 600, they probably were outside of their protected space, and that's where their deviation was.
I mean, Virgin did come back with quite a solid rebuttal of all that you read out, Jeff. Basically saying that they considered the article misleading and the conclusions weren't valid. So, they obviously see things differently. But the fact that they've been grounded and an investigation is underway would indicate that the FAA is far from happy. And I'm sure when eventually they've concluded their investigation, we'll see if it flies again. If it flies again, then,
with all due respect to my friends at the FAA, what's their motto? We're not happy till you're not happy.
Till you're not happy.
I mean, to be fair, this was their first flight to that altitude. I mean, we've seen all sorts of rockets quite recently dancing around, hoofing off in strange directions and blowing up.
Doing what now?
Yeah, and how come the FAA haven't grounded them? So,
Well, because they don't hate Richard Branson. That's why. But I was traveling on a recent flight, 1 hour, 1 minute and 41 seconds off course, and they weren't happy with me either.
Did you get a phone number to call?
Yeah, I did have to call somebody.
Right. Yeah, fair enough.
No, they're never happy with me.
You know what? They're not happy with us either, so it's fine.
Oh, really? Let's see. What was Micah? Liz is pointing me to something that Micah is. Additionally, they have been grounded. They have been grounded before for pilot error when they had the crash and the 2 pilots died. Oh, yeah. Good point.
Yeah. Don't forget, Stuckey was running the show then.
Mm-hmm.
They did amplify a little bit their thoughts on the FAA's grounding. They said although the flight's ultimate trajectory deviated from their initial plan, the flight did not fly outside of the lateral confines of the protected airspace. As a result of the trajectory adjustment, the flight did drop below the altitude of the airspace that is protected for Virgin Galactic missions for a short time. 1 minute, 41 seconds. So it probably was coming in at a lower angle of approach, and they weren't able to stay inside their airspace. It's a good answer to that. Go fly from the Mojave Desert. I think it's pretty quiet out there.
Well, I think that's where they were flying, right?
Oh, don't they fly down in this new one somewhere else?
Oh, okay. The Mojave is in California. This was out over White Sands,
New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Somewhere.
New Mexico.
Yeah.
That area?
Perhaps they shouldn't have left Mojave. There you go.
There's the real error.
Yes, right.
Anyway,
I'm sure if Apollo
what we would do if we were you is we would have not been in New Mexico.
And
that's
nobody
very
asked
true,
us.
yeah.
And nobody asked us.
And I don't bet the FAA didn't red flag Apollo when they landed somewhere weird.
Probably
not.
Yeah. I'm sure there are plenty of Apollo missions didn't land where they were supposed to.
Oh, well. I'm sure they'll get it back on track in the FAA and
well, either that or they
will
won't.
Kiss and make up.
They won't. But there's only going to be a very few number of people who's going to be really annoyed because I don't think they've got that many people booked.
Yeah.
The Italian Air
how much
Force
does
will be
it
upset. Cost? I don't know, $500,000,
Well,
$250,000.
Yeah, a lot of $250,000, 250,000.
Yeah, that sounds right, 250.
Something like that.
Depends whether you want a window seat or not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I do.
Dale's asking,
Preferably
does TCAS 7.2 work when the intruder is a rocket? I don't know if they have TCAS installed on that thing.
ADSB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or ADSB. No.
Come on, Micah. You're taking me too seriously again.
Let's move on. This is a contentious news item, and clearly the bottom line is that any efforts by the United Kingdom are inferior to the efforts of rockets in the U.S.
Very true. You guys have the best rockets, except for the Russians, who've got some pretty good ones.
Oh, the Russians do have some nice ones, that's for sure.
Yeah, we won't mention all the Soyuz missions you had to use to get up to the International Space Station.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. 01C News. 4 dead after small jet headed to Outer Banks crashes on takeoff and hits a building. And this is from dailypress.com. And it was written by Pat Eaton, Rob, and Dave Collins. Oh. Okay, moving on. Let's see. All 4 people aboard a small jet were killed. Stop it, Liz. All 4 people aboard a small jet were killed Thursday morning when it crashed shortly after taking off from a small airport in Connecticut, officials said. The jet took off before 10 a.m. from the Robertson Airport before crashing into the building at Trumpf Incorporated, a manufacturing company. Farmington Police Lieutenant Tim McKenzie said, "It appears there was some type of mechanical failure during the takeoff sequence that resulted in the crash behind us. The plane, a Cessna Citation 560X, was headed to Dare County Regional Airport in Manteo, North Carolina."
Manio.
Oh, really? So I was just pronouncing it like Juan Brown did in his Blancalirio channel, and I figured that he knew what he was talking about. But clearly, I was wrong.
I've been there.
And he
it's
was
Manio.
wrong. Manio, okay. Mm-hmm. North Carolina. The Federal Aviation Administration said 2 pilots and 2 passengers aboard the plane were killed. Their names were not immediately released. They have since been, by the way. The crash set off chemical fires inside the Trump building. Government Ned Lamont said, "Everybody who was inside the Trump building has been accounted for, and there were no serious injuries." Lamont said authorities were in the process of identifying those who died on the plane. He said there was nothing left of it when first responders arrived. It was just a ball of fire, an explosion, and then the chemical fires afterwards. I think they're still trying to identify who was there. Okay, this is early on in the post-accident investigation, but they have, as I said, identified the 2 pilots and the couple. Farmington is in central Connecticut, about 10 miles southwest of the state capital of Hartford. Mackenzie said an intense fire burned for over 20 minutes. Caleb V-word, who works near the crash site, said he ran to the scene after hearing a loud explosion and seeing billows of black smoke from the building. I ran straight toward it to see if I could help. I got as close as I possibly could, and the flames were extremely hot, and the fire was just getting bigger, he told WTIC TV. Okay, so we have a overlay, Liz, and the first one of the crash scene, and there's some firefighters extinguishing the fire from this, pretty much what was left. Okay. What was left of the airplane, the tail part, and it's upside down. That's a Cessna Citation 560 X-ray. And then go ahead and put up the overlay. There you go. That's what it looked like before it crashed. That's November 560 Alfa Romeo. We are going to put a link to the Blancalirio channel, Juan Brown's YouTube channel, where he has done a little bit of analysis from the available information. And what was interesting about that, and I don't know, Steph, if you've had a chance to look at that video.
I have not looked at it. I'm sorry.
Well, Nick and I did, and we had a little discussion about it, and Rick as well. And the interesting thing that, of course, in this initial reporting, I guess they just didn't have the information at that point. But in the video, in Juan's video, they have some photographic evidence of some skid marks toward the lateral. First of all, the runway, not a long runway. It's an uncontrolled field and 3,600 foot long runway. Mm-hmm. And I believe the
Manio is not very big either, to be honest. I forget it. I'll have to look it up and see. But
okay.
Yeah.
But so they're thinking that it was pretty heavily loaded, most likely, and I think the company brochure from Cessna says that fully loaded it can take off in 3,560 feet or something like that. So it's getting close to the limits, performance limits, but it was within the limits of performance for that field. But the photographic evidence in Juan's video is showing some skid marks that they believe, pretty confident about it, that are associated with the takeoff of this jet toward the end of the runway. And it kind of shows evidence of brake application, whether deliberate or inadvertent or accidental, where the ABS system appears to be working. And then as the airplane ended up rolling toward the actual end of the runway, some pretty dark skid marks are evident, as well as some pretty big furrows in the soft grass, dirt, before it finally basically it gets beyond the limit of the runway and the stopway. Not really much of a stopway, but it's about, what was it, Nick, about 20-foot drop at the end of the runway to the road below it?
That's, I think, about that elevation distance, and the car that saw it come over their head said it was about 15 feet above them. So that'd be about right.
And witnesses are saying that the engines seem to be very loud and producing power from what they can determine at this point. So that's the thing that's kind of, everybody's kind of scratching their head a little about, is the fact that there seems to be evidence that somebody or something was putting the brakes on toward the end of the takeoff roll, like in an effort to possibly abort the takeoff. However, it doesn't seem that the thrust was reduced, and we, as Nick will most likely say, it could have been somehow an inadvertent application of the brakes, and they weren't attempting to stop, but were attempting to continue the takeoff. So. Kind of an interesting one.
It is. I mean, just from Bruncleary has a video, and I thought it was a very good assessment, actually. I liked his comments about the nature of the skid marks, which showed a light skid followed by a little dark patch, which would indicate that that's where the anti-skid was releasing, and it showed a function of the anti-skid, so that bit was working. And the fact that they appear to be at full power throughout the entire takeoff run, including the bit, and they went a considerable distance off the end of the runway before they impacted the ground. They got a sort of 20-foot launch because of the drop off the end of the runway, and then impacted about 1,500 feet further on,
1,250 feet or something like that.
Yeah,
where they first hit some
in
obstacles.
what probably would have been reasonably open ground, but then they careered on and hit the corner of the building, which caused the most damage and the fire. So you ask yourself, why would they have full power and the brakes on, which is something that's almost impossible to explain. So it is down to either a mechanical fault, and most brakes don't fail on necessarily. It's got to be an odd kind of a failure for the brakes to fail on. Or it could be an accidental pressure, putting pressure on the top of the rudder pedals to put the brakes on accidentally, because perhaps one of the pilots might have had his feet in the wrong position on the rudder pedals, or might have been tensing up as he saw the end of the runway coming and just applied a little bit of pressure unexpectedly. So there's a few things that could have happened. Whatever it was, they didn't get flying speed. One thing I thought that he said on that video was that they only had like 350 miles to go. So he didn't expect them to be carrying a big fuel load. So he thought they would probably have had a reasonable amount of performance available to them, as opposed to, taking off at max takeoff weight. So, the chances were they had a little bit of performance in hand, and they weren't sort of running it right up to the limits of the runway length. So it'll be an interesting one to look at in future once we get a bit more information. I think I'd love to know the experience levels of the pilots, whether they were both qualified pilots and operating as a crew, or whether perhaps one of them didn't have a type rating, or didn't understand the significance of putting your feet on the rudder pedals in the wrong place. That'd be interesting.
Dale Williams in our live audience says, this goes back into these Part 91 business jet ops. Zero room for error. If it's Part 135, Part 121, there are an additional 40% landing distance requirement added for jets. So, and then just because the graph says it can be done doesn't mean it's safe to be done. Hence why commercial operations add all the extra safety margins. Much higher, requirement or level of safety required with paying passengers. And then iHaul Boxes says Part 91 performance margins are mostly caffeine based. So that's the cause. They did not have enough cups of coffee.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about it that if you're working close to the margins, having the brakes on for a significant portion of your takeoff roll, it's going to make a mess of your day. Not good.
I agree. And then we were having a discussion, as I mentioned before the show, and Rick was talking about an accident of a Russian jet, I believe.
Yes, he
remember
was.
Exactly what that accident was here. Locomotive
I've got it right here.
Yaroslavy plane crash.
Yeah.
And in this case, one of the pilots had inadvertently been pressing on the brakes during the takeoff roll. He had some sort of medical issue where he didn't have sensation or tactile feeling in his feet. Now, of course, that's not to say it has anything to do with this particular accident.
No, it doesn't, but it has an odd parallel.
Mm-hmm.
That was a Yak 42, which kind of looks like your old three-holer.
I know. That's when I saw that picture, I'm thinking, that's a 727.
That's just what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they, but the parallels are really close. But that may be, of course, just coincidence. But it also, I think, turned out that there were quite a few anomalies between the qualifications of these pilots and the aircraft they were flying. So I don't think they were necessarily entirely legal when they took off in that particular flight. But they killed a rock hockey team, didn't they? Yeah, I think.
Oh, okay.
Russia's top ice hockey league.
Was that one? I'm trying to. That sounds vaguely familiar to me now. I didn't watch the link. That
Neil,
sent,
in our chat
but
room,
one of the 45 people on board died. Yeah.
Neil in our chat room gets extra points, APG points, for pointing out the fact that when you're that close to the edge, you don't need many Funyuns to line up.
No.
No.
Really don't.
Just a couple of Funyuns will do it, and that spoiled your whole day.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's not the first time that's been said. Okay. Let's see. But I like Funyuns, but maybe there are people that don't. I don't know. Moving on. British Airways considers a new short-haul subsidiary amid the pandemic strain. This is from the Wall Street Journal. The UK carrier is discussing putting its Gatwick flying operations into a new subsidiary that could reduce costs and compete better with discounters. And let's see, they're looking for ways to offset the pandemic-induced declines in long-haul traffic. The airline at the start of the pandemic halted its short-haul flying from Gatwick and shifted those flights to its base at London's Heathrow Airport. Big carriers such as British Airways have typically relied on short-haul operations to feed traffic onto the more profitable longer routes, which are expected to be the last segment of air travel to recover. Creating a new unit could provide the airline an opportunity to lower its cost base and better compete in the intra-European market with the likes of discounters EasyJet PLC and Ryanair Holdings PLC. Short-haul flying, led by summer leisure travel, is slowly returning in Europe after being stuck for months well below the recovery seen in U.S. domestic travel. There are still question marks over the extent of the recovery in business travel, said Alex Irving, an analyst at Bernstein in London. The customer base longer term will have a higher percentage of leisure travelers than it's used to, so it makes sense for BA to be architecting its operations to compete more for that traffic. Let's see. A British Airways spokesman said the airline was in talks with its union over the new subsidiary, but that the company wasn't able to comment further while the process continues. Successful union discussions are key to whether the airline moves forward with the plan. Anyway,
I think that has just answered Micah's question. Do they think it's just a means for BA to create an airline where they can work around union requirements? I don't think that's the case, Micah. And as we've seen, because of the laws of the United Kingdom, once you get a certain number of members who wish or do join a union, then the management are forced to recognize that union and negotiate through them. So, it's not exactly a workaround just to make a new airline. They've had one in the past, of course. Go was the British Airways low-cost carrier. They got a few second-hand 737s and flew them from about 1998, I think, till about 2007-ish, when they sort of got fed up with the idea. It was Bob Ayling's their CEO, I think, at the time. They used to call him the Ayling Man. It was his child, and as soon as he stood down, I think they got rid of it as soon as they could.
Could you say that Go went?
Yes, it did. Exactly right. Yes, Go went away. So this will be their second go at creating this thing, and of course, they pulled out of Gatwick and said, "That's it. We've gone from Gatwick."
Never mind.
Yes, and now I think they're going. Oh well, perhaps we could restart. There's always been this two-tier problem between British Airways Gatwick and British Airways Heathrow. The Heathrow people like on a different pay scale, higher pay scale. Gatwick not so. The second sort of class airport, second class pay scales. They've had problems like that in the past. But it'll be interesting to see if they decide to go ahead with this, whether they can make it work, whether the unions will let them. British Airways is a very strong member of BALPA in the United Kingdom, and they would have a lot to say about that, I am sure. A lot of
I like the possible name for the new subsidiary. Go again.
Yeah.
That's from Dale.
Perfect.
They could call it go around.
Okay. That's
go
what
around.
Liz thinks.
Go again.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Go get him.
Go get him. Go F yourself.
Yeah,
Nice.
as Dale
There's a good
Williams
one.
is right to say that EasyJet took over what was left of Go, so so it was Go Easy.
Okay.
Okay.
Go easy on me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, we're saving the last news item for when Rick and I get together for part 2. So let's do this. Let's see if I can find it. Just the old overlay would do. Thank you, Liz. Here we go. Getting to know us, getting to know all about us, getting to like us, getting to hope you like us too. All right. There you go. That is our our bumper for the Getting
Jeff
to
and
Know
I
Us
show.
segment. The Jeff and I.
Jeff.
Anyway, so it's the part of the show that we get together and kind of get all caught up with what has been happening and what is about to happen with the crew. And who would like to go first?
I think Nick wants to go first.
I wanted to hear which end of the candle Steph's been burning this week.
Steph.
Looking
Just
at it
straight
weird.
from the
Both?
middle, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Been a bit busy?
I've been busy. I'm always busy, but I mean, yeah, I was very tired upon leaving work, and I was feeling fine up until that point. So I apologize that all of a sudden that's where it decided to catch up with me. So when did we record last week? I don't remember.
Not that long ago.
Okay, fair enough. Was
well,
that like
Thursday,
Thursday?
I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And I had to leave a little bit early. Yeah, so since then, busy weekend, just the usual, flying all weekend. Beautiful weather, actually. It was really gorgeous for flying and jumping Saturday and Sunday, so did that all day, both days. And then I was actually really looking forward to, yesterday was a holiday here in the U.S., Labor Day holiday, having a day off and just kind of floating in the lake and having an adult beverage and relaxing, and had a bit of a unexpected trip for family reasons that I had to make to Chicago yesterday. So I ended up on a pretty early flight. Flights were a little booked very last minute, and I found out I was going, or that I was going to be able to go on Friday evening. So I booked flights Friday, I think. I forget. For the actual holiday. So the flight times were a little off. It wasn't the usual schedule. The usual airline I fly wanted an insane amount of money, which I would have happily paid, but was able to find a more reasonable cost on a different airline and similar flight times, but it meant leaving pretty early. Actually, a pretty early return, too, which I didn't really want to do, but there were no nonstop flights back from the Chicago area to Charlotte after about 4:30 in the afternoon, which was odd. There were later flights, but they involved multiple stops, and I didn't get back to like midnight, and I just couldn't do that with having to work today. So I came back. I think my flight left 3:25 yesterday afternoon, and just me trying to maximize time with family, and I cut that one a little bit close, getting back to the airport. Let's just say. It doesn't sound like me at all.
Unlike you.
So normally I do cut it a bit close anyway. Prefer to do that, but this one I was sitting in the shuttle from the rental car facility back to the airport as the flight is already. I'm getting the notification that the flight's boarding.
Oh, ouch!
And I had this thought. I was like, "Wow, I might actually miss this one, and that would be bad because there are no more flights from this particular airport that would get me to the Charlotte area this evening." So, no, it worked out. I was at the gate good 15 minutes before the flight left. Plenty of time.
How do you get through security and everything so quickly? I mean,
so security actually took a few minutes. I probably was in line for 5 minutes, 7 minutes. I didn't have anything with me. That was the good part. I had no bags, nothing. I had my phone, my wallet, and a charger for my phone. Quite suspicious.
Yes, if I was a security guy, I'd instantly go, you need to go through secondary security. I'm sorry.
No one said anything. No flags were raised. Yeah, I didn't even have my jacket with me anymore because part of the reason why I was so late getting back to the airport, I was, as it is when a lot of family gets together, you're like, okay, time for me to leave, got to go to the airport, and then you spend the next 30 minutes saying goodbyes to everyone.
Yes.
And then you're running very late.
No, I really have to go.
I had to go 30 minutes ago, and now I'm probably going to miss my flight. It just kind of made for longer day than I planned, but it was good. I needed to go, and it was a worthwhile thing to do, very necessary. So, but yeah, then right back to work today. Busy day. I think I had 22 patients today, or something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Just
all those backs to stab.
Yeah, 15 of them, I think.
Yikes.
Yeah. So it was just, busy, steady, busy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had planned on a bit of a rest day, and I didn't get my rest day, which I'm not complaining about. Not complaining at all. It was, there's things you have to do in life, and yeah. But I am a little bit tired today. So
well, maybe you can catch up.
Yeah, maybe. Probably
Ketchup?
not. Yeah, it's that stuff that you put on French fries.
Yeah, that's going ketchup.
Probably have some in the pantry.
I might, maybe.
All right.
But yeah.
Anything else? Not really much else to do other than what you just described, right?
No. Yeah, it was just. Like I said, yesterday it was a beautiful day in Chicago yesterday too. Just very clear, nice view of the city on the way in, and probably on the way out too. But I think I had fallen asleep on the plane after running through the airport. I did sprint. I left cleared security, and thankfully my gate was only it was one of the very closest gates to the security checkpoint.
Oh,
I ran.
Lucky you.
I
Well
ran
done.
quite quickly and dodged a few people along the way.
You know what? She probably got up to the gate and wasn't even out of breath.
Not really.
I would hope not.
It was probably 500 yards of running.
Oh, good.
Not that far.
Oh, what was your time?
I don't know. It was fast though.
Okay. When you're used to, running 20.
And I was not wearing running sneakers. I was wearing Tom's slide-on shoes.
Fair enough. Well done. Well, I'm glad you didn't miss it.
No.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's me.
Anything else?
No,
Miss
I'm
stuff?
just, I probably shouldn't be drinking an alcoholic beverage, probably something with caffeine, but I've had several caffeinated beverages today already.
I think you
this
need
is
to
as
drink
good
more.
This is
more
as good as it's
beers.
going to get at the moment.
And Liz, if you can try to dig up some technical literature for.
Yes, absolutely.
I'd be
Yes,
happy
we
to
need
read that.
that manual to read.
This feels like a different kind of tired, though. It's just I need to sit.
Yeah,
Well, Nick.
Good. Yes, sir.
Any updates on the meetup at Fair Oaks?
No, but I am going to repeat
later
it
in
at the risk of boring everybody. 25th of September, UK meetup at the Hangar Cafe at Fair Oaks Airport, Woking, Surrey. It's a 4-hour window, 10 to 2, but pitch up any time really and leave any time. It's very relaxed, although I am going to hopefully, if Nev manages to get there with his audio gear, we're going to have a short chit chat with the Plaintail about Fair Oaks, because I used to work there and I've got some memories which you might find amusing or might put a shiver down your spine. So that'll be at 12 noon. So mentioned that before, and I'll mention it a couple of times before we actually have it. So looking forward to seeing everyone there. On a personal note, the bowling season's more or less ended. Didn't cover myself in glory. I got a little bit of silver from a pairs match, but was only a runner-up in the men's finals singles. So a bit of a shame there, but that's life. There's always next year. Last night I had fun. I was chatting to Marcus of Omega Tau. And I don't know if you remember, that was my very first go at podcasting when he interviewed me, I think 2015. so about 7 years ago, and talked about my time in the Phantom. And I mentioned that I had flown the F-18, and he has done some interviews about the F-18. The main chap, of course, is huge, tall, handsome, ex-Blue Angels F-18 driver who's fascinating and has got a lovely voice and remembers everything about the F-18. And then to counterpoise that, he asked me to come on and ramble for a short while about my memories of the F-18. So I did that last night. And he's obviously going to, have this Blue Angels chap being the interviewer, and then I'm the comedic counterpoise, I suspect. We'll see. I'll look forward to hearing it, Marcus. As to what
being
you
too
produced.
hard. Being too hard on yourself.
Well, I don't know. I was trying to. Yeah, it's hard, but he wanted to hear some of the F-18's, funny foibles and quirks. And quite honestly, it's hard because it was a lovely airplane, but I managed to find a few. Like the US Navy pilot that fell off the airplane onto his head because someone hadn't lowered the ladder. And when you're climbing out of the cockpit, you can't see the ladder because it's coming down from underneath the leading edge extension. And usually the ground crew bring it out straight away. And this guy clambered out, and he put his foot down to where he thought the ladder was and let go of the cockpit. And of course, they hadn't put the ladder down. So he cartwheeled off the aircraft, fell about 12 feet straight into his head. Luckily, he was still wearing his helmet.
Oh, my. That first step is a doozy.
Absolutely, yes.
There's a show title for you right there.
You're feeling around in midair for this ladder. Anyway, that was one of many little stories I have about the F-18. And finally, my thanks to the fine, wonderful, gorgeous, and incredibly smart Canadian who suggested the subject for this week's Plain Tale, our own wonderful producer, Liz. So she made this suggestion. Thank you, Liz. She made this suggestion a year ago, and I've hung on to it because I'd already done a Battle of Britain story. So we're coming up to the anniversary of the Battle of Britain, or at least the day that is considered the day we remember. I just want to say celebrate, but it was a part of a war, so you don't really celebrate wars, do you? The 15th. So we're coming up to that, so this is a bit of a story about the Battle of Britain.
Well, speaking of important dates coming up very, very soon, there is the 9th of September.
That's just an also-ran date.
No,
and no. As we all know,
Nick's birthday.
Yep.
Unless the next one of any note will be 7-0. So until I get to there, let's just ignore
you got
them,
a few
shall
years.
we? Yeah, I've got a few years to worry about.
And no, just kidding. More than that.
I've got about 3.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I know how old you are. Kind of. Not really.
So anyway, yes, we'll worry about that. The other thing I was going to say was, sadly, next week I'm not going to be on the show. I'm going to be down in Cornwall with my wife and dogs, and we're going to be dancing on the beach. I don't know if we'll have clothes on or not. Depends on the temperature. But
okay. Send pictures.
No, thank you. No, we're just heading off for a quiet week in Cornwall, and drinking beer, going to the pub, and to a beautiful tiny little beach at Trebarwith Strand. So if anyone's in the pub up there, I think it's called the Prince William or something, I'll probably be up there most days. But there's very little internet, and I probably won't be answering any messages or doing anything other than just enjoying a bit of quiet. That'll be nice.
It does sound perfect.
Yeah, but I'm going to miss you next week, and I'll see you the week after.
We're going to miss you.
Yes, we'll miss you.
Oh, I'm crying now.
Don't cry. Don't cry.
All right, my turn, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nick, we were going to have you mention someone who is our pal and a lot of other people's pal, Captain.
Of course, yes, we got some fantastic news. Now, those of you who follow Pip's podcast, Plane Safety, and also, of course, PTUK, they have Captain Al on there, A320 captain and type rating examiner, amongst many other things, who was flying for Wizz. Well, he got made redundant. He was a contract pilot with them at the beginning of the pandemic. And we've just heard the great news that they've taken him back on, and he'll be climbing back on board before too long. Based initially out of Luton, not very convenient for him where he lives, but it's just fantastic news because we know lots of pilots who've been made redundant. One of my great Australian F-18 mates, he's a 380 pilot, so he's done absolutely nothing since Qantas got rid of their 380s. However, it does sound like they might be getting them be might be able to climb it eventually, but not probably for a year or two even. Anyway, good news, Captain Al. We wish you well and enjoy your return to the flight deck and getting back in the air. Yeah, fantastic. And well done for keeping it together. He's such a positive character, Al, and it's been an incredibly difficult time for everyone who's suffered during the pandemic, but for those who've had their incomes cleaved apart because they've lost their jobs and have been desperately trying to get back into it, we understand how hard it's been. So well done, Al.
Yes. Round of applause for that great news. Way to go.
So happy to hear.
Yeah.
Truly.
All right. This upcoming Saturday will be the 20th anniversary of the terrorist attacks on 9/11 in 2001. I think I have that right, correct?
Correct.
20. Yes, okay. September 11th.
20.
So just kind of keep that in mind. And we're not going to do any kind of a special program on that. We have done that in the past, but it's just hard to believe that it's already been 20 years since that occurred.
I know the events are just so fresh in my mind that I find it hard to realize so much time has gone by.
Yep.
I think that's probably true for almost everyone who is old enough to remember.
Yeah. And there are probably some people listening, watching the show that weren't even born when this happened.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was something that shocked the world, and a lot of us can remember exactly where we were and what we were doing and what we were feeling, and it was just an amazing time in a negative way. Let's see. Do we have any, Liz, any updates on the meetup in Fargo from Kelly? Okay. Okay, it did not happen last Saturday, but we're waiting for more updates. Okay. I leave on a trip tomorrow, go to Asheville, North Carolina, and Dayton, Ohio, and I'll be meeting up, looks like, with at least 3 community members on this trip. I'm going to meet with somebody for lunch in Asheville and a quick drink in the evening before I'm off to bed for an early go the next day. And then on Thursday, I'll be in Dayton before noon, and I'm meeting up with someone for a lunch in Dayton, Ohio. So I'm looking forward to that. And if you... yeah, well, I'll try to get, Liz is saying, so basically you're not going to get much editing done. I'm thinking, yeah, probably not. But I'm going to try. I'm definitely going to try.
Priorities.
Good luck with that.
Food, drinks, meetups.
Food and drink is
I would say that's definitely the priority.
Yeah. And then on Friday, I'll be coming back in the afternoon and going to try to squeeze in part 2, possibly, right after I return and get up to Roswell. If not, we're going to do it a little bit later in the evening on Friday. So kind of keep your Twitter feed and Facebook stuff going and refreshing to see when it is we're actually going to be recording part 2. But I'm taking part in an evening prayer service, on Friday night for the 9/11 victims in commemoration and honor of them and praying for them. And so that rehearsal for me begins at 5:30, and I don't land until just around 3 o'clock. So it's going to be very tight. So it's likely going to be after the evening prayer service on Friday evening when Rick and I get together, and anybody else on the crew who happens to be around and wants to participate. Well, of course, Liz, you have to be there, Liz, to direct us. And then my usual singing at the masses on Saturday and Sunday, and that's it for me. And then next week I don't even have anything planned as far as or on my schedule for flying. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick something up or not. Probably not. A lot of work to do at the house in Roswell. And finally, before we move on to feedback and Coffee Fund and all that kind of stuff, I'd like to share. I meant to put this as an overlay, and I neglected to, so let me do this instead. And this is the artwork from our last episode, the 487 cover art. There's APG 487. The title of the show was APG Gone South. And if you have listened to the episode, you'll know why we named it that and why Nick chose that as an airplane heading south. That was we had a lot of fun. Or I did, at least. Anyway,
I think we had fun.
It's a great one.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, brilliant artwork. There's an old atlas or map drawing or whatever, but it's upside down and an airplane. What is that? A Ford Trimotor? What is that? No.
It was originally a Lufthansa airplane, so
okay. Maybe
guessing it's a JU something or other.
Okay.
A gorgeous Junkers, Neil says.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And there's a little compass there pointing the direction in which the airplane's heading, which is south, of course. So very, very nice little play on words there. And so thank you again, Nick, for that brilliant artwork.
I didn't have a lot of time for that one, so it was a very quick piece of work.
Oh, no.
Sometimes I've got time to tinker and put in all sorts of little Easter eggs, but not unfortunately, I've had such a busy time bowling and doing all my other stuff, and the plain tail in particular.
Well, it has not gone unappreciated.
Great.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Well, that means that it is time now for the Coffee Fund. If I can just find the app that I use to play this stuff. Okay, here it is.
Johnny, how much more coffee?
No thanks.
I love coffee. I love tea. I love the APG community. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup.
All right. Thank you, Jeff Smith, for singing the APG version of the Java Jive, which is what we play when we talk about those wonderful people who are part of the Coffee Bar Cadre. No, I just messed that up. Coffee Fund Cadre or Coffee Bar Club. And a couple different ways to do that. One is the old-fashioned way, the classic method. And since the last episode, we have a couple of folks who have used that. Mazut's Karim, again, thank you, sir. Very, very generous of you. And Bradley Nunn also contributed via the Coffee Fund Classic method. And the other way to participate in the Coffee Fund is to become a patron of the show via Patreon. And since the last episode, we have a new producer, Brad Nunn. Looks like he changed his mind on what mechanism he wanted to use, so he has become a patron of the show. Thank you, Brad. And executive producer, a new one here, Asmarts, I guess, Osmarts. So thank you very much for becoming that tier level producer. And also, just quickly, Robert Coble edited their pledge from $1 to $2. So he doubled his pledge. So thank you, Robert Coble, for that. If you want to get involved in the Coffee Fund, head over to airlinepilotguy.com/coffee. You'll be glad you did. And we will too. Probably more glad than you are. Oops, that's the wrong one.
Captain, incoming message.
Physiological breaks. I think Nick has already accomplished that.
I could always go again.
Good.
Yeah, you good?
Well,
okay.
that's weird.
I think I'm good too. Okay, yeah, well, that's a relative assessment. Okay, only about an hour to go, so let's do a couple of pieces of feedback, and then we'll do the plain tale. Okay, let's go to item number 4, and this just so happens to be some audio feedback from our good friend, our Kiwi friend in New Zealand, Glen Towler. Take it away, Glen. Take it away.
Greetings, fellow APG sufferers, syndrome sufferers even. It's Glen here from New Zealand with some feedback. It's been a long time since I sent any feedback in. We're in the middle of a lockdown, so I've got quite a lot of spare time on my hands. We've gone from one case less than a week ago to now over 100, so it's what happens sometimes. So sick of this virus, of course, like everyone else. I was supposed to go to an air show first weekend of September, but that's obviously been canned as well now, so hey ho. Anyway, just talking about what your thoughts are on this mad rush to go buy electric aircraft. I mean, that DHL and their idea of buying aircraft that you have to load by hand. I mean, it just shows, I just guess, that what is DHL thinking? I really don't know what they're thinking, that they want to go and buy an aircraft that, as I said before, load by hand instead of like just getting an aircraft where you can just load with containers like they do with the A320, where the baggage goes into the luggage hold in a container. At the other end, they just take the container out, swap it for another container, and the aircraft is ready to go. Baggage-wise, I mean, the 737, of course, must take a lot longer to load all those bags, and some guy crouched down inside the baggage hold. So much more efficient. I mean, the Cessna Courier, I think it's called, takes, I think, 1 or 2 L2 containers, so it's ideal for parcels. So why would you want to go back to loading loading the parcels by hand? But anyway, I guess it's this free publicity. A bit like United in their supersonic boom jets, which I don't think is ever going to happen. I really don't see them ever buying those. I mean, they said they're going to buy them, but they've got no money down, and boom, I don't think they've got the money to actually build the jets in the first place. So anyway, I suppose it's all good publicity for them. What they think, I mean, and of course then they quietly drop the contract and boom, just anyway. So yeah, just thought I'd send a bit more feedback. Very enjoyed I did enjoy Nick's plain tale. 4 instructors walk into a bar. The one, especially the bit about the Canberra and the dummy, that did make me laugh out loud. Anyway, keep up the good work as always. Oh, and hello, and T-38s, Douglas. Glen out.
There we go. Talons. T-38 Talon.
Clever.
Very good. Nice reference.
Wasn't that... Oh, iHaul Boxes said 100 new APG syndrome cases in New Zealand. Wow.
Yeah, yes. This is a very contagious illness.
That's worse than COVID.
And you can't get rid of it.
You're going to need a lot of pills.
Stuck with you. A lot of go around amoxicillin. I think there
are 6 absolutely. Yeah,
convenient daily doses.
The sewers in New Zealand are going to be absolutely overflowing.
Watch the stomach cramps.
Yeah.
Really,
are there
really
stomach
nasty.
cramps associated with that?
Yeah. I think I heard something to that effect. Yeah. With the treatment, actually.
Yeah, with the treatment.
It's not effective anyway, but you'll
it's
also
like
you'll also have stomach cramps to distract you from the actual illness.
Not really sure what's worse, the syndrome or the stomach cramps. I don't know. You be the judge.
Let us know. Yeah.
He was mentioning United and Boom. I thought, wasn't it United that had the contract with Aviation? And they're the ones that went under?
I don't recall.
Or did Boom go bust? I think Boom's still going.
No, Boom is in theory still going. Aviation went under. I don't know which airline was linked with them, but he's got a good point. Branson used to regularly suddenly come up saying, he was going to get hold of Concords. He was going to get hold of a bunch of Concords, and they were going to be in Virgin livery, and it would be all over the newspapers. Just never ever happened. BA would never ever going to let him pinch a Concorde or two and start putting Virgin Atlantic on it, but he would regularly
$50 or £50.
Yes, he would regularly put it in the newspapers that he was going to, and of course it was just free publicity. I have a feeling that this electric airplane thing, he's got a very good point. It's hardly a cargo airplane, and I think it's probably got more to do with giving the company a good name than it has to actually being a practical means of moving lots of parcels, and I feel the same probably about these supersonic, small supersonic aircraft.
Yeah,
it's a good way to attract a bit of publicity.
I agree.
Much cheaper than putting an advert if you can get someone to write an article about it.
Oh yeah, and then people might actually read it.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Neil in our chat room, The Cure. They lock you down for a week and make you listen to opposing bases 24/7.
Wow. Yeah,
the cure for APG syndrome.
That's
I think that's
I
just
feel like
a
then
cure
you have
for
a different illness.
I think that's just a cure for podcasting in general.
Yeah, you'll never listen to another one. Dale Williams says APG syndrome is only cured by a good dose of 100 IBU IPA, and that's the IBU is International Bitterness Units.
That's a bit much for me, even.
That would
I mean,
be,
actually, I
that
know
would be
that's
a
a lot.
very powerful IPA.
It would be very bitter,
strongly hopped,
hoppy.
Yep, hoppy.
Yeah, and we know how much you
Like, you
guys
could
like
chew it.
your citrusy, fruity flavored
Yeah, they're the
IPAs.
best.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Glenn, for sending in the audio feedback. And by the way, if you're out there and you're thinking, I could do one of those audio feedback things, well, you can. And you can head over to APG, airlinepilotguy.com /contact us, I believe, or contact. Anyway, it's on the website menu. Go there, and then there's a link to SpeakPipe, and then all you have to do is hit that SpeakPipe button and start talking, or you can just use your cell phone or whatever and record using whatever app you have on there to record your voice, which is actually probably
try not to
better.
do it in the windy bit of your walk, Jeff.
Yeah, well, you have to deal with that, and I don't know what you're talking about.
Jeff put out a very nice, and I really enjoyed it, a very nice crew log for our Patreons. But it was a little windy, wasn't it? The old mic suffered.
Jeff was windy?
No, I was not windy.
Yeah, Jeff was very
windy.
Okay.
He was talking out of his bottom again.
And
he'd been taking the go around to someone.
And
absolutely. You could hear it whistling past.
I had a feeling it was going to sound like that because I didn't have any kind of headphone or anything, earbud in, so I couldn't really hear what it sounded like. But I was imagining that, and I even said so when I was recording it, thinking, okay, I should have brought the windscreen to pop on, the phone to keep it from being so windy sounding. But anyway, sometimes it happens. All right, let's move on to this from Gary. He was, and this is not Gary Surprise, Nick. It's.
I think he said it was Gary Surprise.
Surprise.
Surprise, yes.
Those are really good salads. The Caprese.
Caprese.
It's Caprese. Never mind. I usually listen to the APG YouTube version when driving. Imagine my surprise when I'm driving home from an event and heard my name mentioned in episode 483. Additionally, the following day, I listened to Nick's tale involving the Japan Airlines JAL water landing in San Francisco Bay, and related the story to a friend. Found out my friend may have flown that very airplane as it went to ABX after leaving Japan Airline. ABX, what's that stand for?
ABX.
I know, but isn't that actually their name? Was it cargo?
I think it's cargo, but does it stand for
ABX?
something?
I think it does. I don't know. Liz, can you figure it out? Okay, our staff is working on it.
Formerly
Airborne
Express.
Yeah.
Now
Airborne
just
Express.
ABX.
Oh, really? Now they're just like It used to be Federal Express, but now it's just FedEx.
FedEx. Yep.
Gotcha. I see. Well, an economy with letters. Okay.
Well, I was just going
to say
ABEX.
ABEX.
It always amazes me how many people listen who have a personal connection with Plaintail sometimes. So, yeah, I think it's absolutely brilliant. And thanks for writing in, Gary.
It's uncanny how you're able to do that, Nick. I don't know how you do it.
I don't know. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's just a natural
I expect
talent.
an awful lot of people out there like airplane stories.
Yeah.
And if you're one of them and you listen to Plain Tales, love those reviews. Keep them coming. Thanks very much. Always helps.
Yep. On the site, if you go to the Plain Tales page, there's information on how you can find it and subscribe to it on your favorite podcast listening software.
Oh,
and
quite honestly, now for both of our shows, Jeff, you can just both of our shows. What am I saying? You just do a search for Plain Tales. It pops up in Apple Podcasts and Spotify and everywhere else.
The Apple Podcasts would be the best one to leave a review because it's the largest percentage-wise of people that are listening to podcasts out there. So.
And for the show as well, please, because it just increases our chance of getting other listeners, new listeners, because
and being on top of the list of aviation podcasts.
Yeah, and more importantly,
so
beating
opposing bases.
Yeah, much more important.
No, I mean, I think it's over. I mean, it's not even a contest anymore. I mean, they're the number one of all time. All time.
That's true, yes, all time.
Yeah,
which means it doesn't matter what we do in the future, they'll still be the number one of all time.
I know. I don't know why we're going to try.
How does that work? I don't
know.
Are they Time Lords?
Just forget it.
There's something weird about the space-time continuum and air traffic controllers.
Well, certainly inside an air traffic control tower there is, yes.
Doesn't give you a lot of confidence, does it?
No.
They were reading from the bottom of the list.
They had it upside down. With that map in Nick's.
Now that's just unfair.
They were going south, not north.
Oh, let's continue on with Stan. He says, I'm an episode behind. That's all. But a couple of episodes ago, I heard that Kelly Kirk was organizing a Fargo APG meetup. I'm in Fargo, North Dakota, into the end of September doing aerial survey, but I'm no slacker. I'm just putting it out there that I'm interested. Also, another listener was talking about soft field, short field landings, and it brought back great recent memories from flight training. Hang in there. It takes a lot of time and money, but it's well worth it. Confidently landing on short grass runways has been one of my favorite experiences flying out in the Midwest. Finally, please give a shout out to the Professional Pilots of Tomorrow, a worthy all-volunteer nonprofit of pilots helping pilots. I'm currently a member of the fundraising committee, and we are planning a sweepstakes for the winter with a chance to win luggage and JetBlue tickets.
Ooh.
The money goes to support our free mentoring services and outreach programs. And the website is THEPPOT, the PPOT Pilot, Professional Pilots of Tomorrow.org. And there's a overlay of the Professional Pilots of Tomorrow, pilots supporting pilots. And that information will be in our show notes if you're interested in supporting this very worthy all-volunteer nonprofit.
That sounds fantastic. I love the idea of giving back to the aviation world. And if you're helping new pilots, I think that's the best place to be, to help people as they start their careers. So that's brilliant. I do wonder the combination of getting luggage and JetBlue tickets, because I don't think they let you take luggage, do they, on JetBlue?
Of course they do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was joking. How much do they charge?
I don't know if they're
that's
not like
they're not
Frontier
one of those.
and Spirit.
Yeah,
they're not one of those. All right, I take it all back, JetBlue. You're a
I think
good
if you
airline.
buy like their very, very like basic fare, you can't take luggage, but that's actually, or you have to pay extra, but that's pretty much every airline.
I thought I was going to be pretty safe with that snide comment, so obviously not.
Hold on.
Lost that snide edge.
Damn.
Let me help you here.
Anyway,
below 50%.
Yes, oh, look, and I've even been blotted out as usual. But anyway, not taking away from Stan's participation in the professional pilots tomorrow. That's brilliant. Well done, mate. I think that's great.
Yeah, excellent. All right, Tom writes in regarding the woman who, I forgot exactly what episode we talked about this, the woman who said that her plane had landed, in quotes, then went around. One would expect the spoilers and reversers and auto brakes to be armed and flaps full or close to full. So if the wheels actually did contact, they would have to reconfigure everything, making what she experienced a touch and go, striving to remain above 50%. Tom T. Okay.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Oh, no. Below 50%.
No, that's Tom T going down.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, what would you say about that, Nick?
Well, it's nice of you to make that comment, Tom, but if you go around from a very low altitude and your wheels touch the runway, the aircraft logic won't deploy all that stuff, so don't worry about it. You won't get the spoilers up, you won't get the reversers if you're gone full power, because you can only get the reversers if you've got the throttles at idle and then pull the reversers up. They don't happen automatically. The auto brakes will cancel, and the fact that your flaps are full doesn't really make much difference. You can go around easily with full flap down. Don't forget, by the time you're normally at your landing destination, you're relatively light. So, the aircraft has heaps of excess performance. So this is different to the point at which you have done a landing and started pulling the reversers and then try and change your mind. That is not a good thing to do.
Yeah,
once you pull the reversers, that's it.
That's
mate.
it. You've committed to a landing.
Don't even think about it. But up to that point, you can just bang the throttles on, and whether you're on the ground or not, everything can automatically close up. If your spoilers are deployed, they'll shut, and off you go. You'll get off, no problem. By the way, when we do training touch and goes, we have a trainer in the back seat behind us, and in the Airbus, he does help to reconfigure the aircraft during the roll. So after you've landed, you don't arm the spoilers for a practice touch and go, and you don't engage thrust reversers, but you just do a normal landing, get the nose wheel down. He says stand up the throttles, so you push the throttles like halfway up until the levers are vertical. He meanwhile moves the flap from full to flap 3, gives the trim wheel a couple of turns, and then says go. And as you hit about 140 knots, he'll say rotate, because there won't be an automatic rotate call. And away you go. But that is for practice touch and goes when you're doing base training, and you're just trying to get a whole bunch of pilots qualified on the aircraft or whatever.
And I do believe it's a little bit different in air transport category aircraft that we're talking about here than it might be, let's say, in a Cessna 150, 152. If you land with full flaps on one of those airplanes, Steph, isn't it true?
I'm sorry, what did you...
Oh, I was saying that
again.
if you were landing in a Cessna, like a 150, 152 or something like that, and you had full flaps, that would be kind of tough, right, to kind of climb out with full flaps still hanging out. And
if you have them all hanging out, yeah. I mean, so you go around procedures, flaps up, carb heat in, full power.
But so it's much more critical in that kind of airplane than it is, as Nick mentioned, in the kind of jets that we're flying, transport category airplanes. You put the power on to go around thrust, and it's not so critical that
you
the drag is reduced with the flaps.
You have more power.
Climb like crazy. Yeah, a lot more power. Part of the procedure is, of course, to also reduce the flap setting, as he mentioned. To flaps 3 in the Airbus, or for us, it'd be going from full flaps to flaps 13, something like that, and that's a percent of flaps in the airplane that I fly. So, but anyway, get the flaps up in the 172. John McElree says, "Yep."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, if you call a go around, you actually say in our procedures, go around flap. That's your call. Go around flaps, and on the word flaps, the guy will bring the flap up one notch for your go around to make life a little easier.
And we say toga or go around power flaps 13, and and then it goes into that. There's a gate in the flap handle that it'll automatically catch and stay. So that's a pretty positive movement. Anyway, good feedback, Tom. Let's see. I think we have. Okay, so and I don't think we have time for 9 though, do we? Yeah, we can. Okay, so let's go to number 9 feedback. Magnus sent this as, "Hi Captain, Jeff and crew, I hope you're all doing well. I stumbled on this lovely video with an A340 pilot which has built his own Caravel simulator out of a real plane. What a major job it must have been to wire up all those steam gauges to X-plane." Yeah, you got to do a lot of plumbing because of all the steam, copper pipes and stuff.
The Caravel was actually a steam-powered aircraft, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think so, but yeah.
Sud Aviation.
Let's see. Why don't you want to? Let's see. I'll play a little bit of this video, just a smidgen. And I'll very quickly and professionally find that video. I should have been doing this while we're discussing the previous. Here we go. Okay. Open. Here we go. Should be playing right now. Yeah, baby. Love the music. Caravel,
very 60s, isn't it?
60s, maybe even 70s, yeah. Flycaravel.com, www.707.
Hello and welcome aboard this 1960 Caravel jet, the first short-haul jet airliner ever built. My name is Niels Ahlgren. I've been a commercial pilot for 15 years, and as much as I appreciate flying the Airbus, and particularly the A340, which I think is a fantastic airplane, my true passion is for these first-generation jets with steam gauges, very little automation, and true hands-on feeling. This is why I've spent 4 years of my life restoring this cockpit into a fully functional flight simulator. And today I would like to show you some of the special features of this airplane and talk to you about the procedures that are very different to what we're doing nowadays. The first thing that really stands out is the arrangement of the cockpit windows.
To see more, and it's a very interesting video for sure. Please check out our
It takes a lot of
notes.
time and energy and effort to
4
do that.
years.
4 years.
I know.
He obviously doesn't work very hard and gets paid too much.
Sounds like a pilot.
Sounds like an A340 pilot to me.
Oh, brilliant.
Anyway.
But he was just about to mention the fact that when you're a pilot on a Caravel, you've got a bar on the window right in front of your nose.
I did notice that. It seemed a little bit, a little bit of a design challenge there.
Yeah, so I think you're right, Jeff. I think you develop a sort of tilting head so you can see around.
Yeah, but is it any different than the current F1 cars with the halos with the post right there in the middle?
Do they have to see anything?
Good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, I suppose so.
Also, and then on the good old Mad Dog, the way the 6-pack instrument panel was laid out, I had the primary display on top, and then the navigation display below it, and you could pretty much see all of the primary display, but the navigation display, you kind of had to like lean over a little bit to the left or the right to actually see it in full view. So that was kind of because of the control yoke.
What was in the way, Jeff?
The control yoke was in the way,
that
Nick.
damn great big control yoke. Oh,
that thing.
If only.
It's not so much of a problem on the current airplane that I'm flying because of the 8-inch diagonal screens are much higher up, so the control yoke doesn't really block them. So it's kind of a new thing for me. It's like, I can see everything. That's pretty cool.
Okay,
I still don't have a little cable to pull out to eat my first class meal. Of course, we don't have first class meals on the airplane.
Do you have
that I
any
fly.
meals
Not
on the
long
airplane?
enough to I think on occasion we've had like Atlanta to Boston and Atlanta, like that kind of stage length. And it depends on the market and with whom we're competing determines whether or not we actually serve a hot meal. And it would only be to first class. Just normally not enough time for the economy class to get anything, but maybe some little almonds or peanuts or chips or something. Oh no, those Biscoff cookies.
Ooh, those are good. I like those.
Yes, they are. Okay. Liz is telling me that it is now time for this week's installment of the incredibly popular Old Pilots Plane Tales, and this week's episode is entitled The Millionaires Mob. So take it away, Old Pilot.
The Old Pilot's Plane Tales. The Millionaires Mob. It started as a hot chocolate emporium in 1693, founded by an Italian immigrant, Francesco Bianco, from which it gained its name, White's Chocolate House. In the 1600s, drinking chocolate was all the rage, particularly in London. The recipe was simple: half a pint of hot water for every ounce of chocolate, 2 egg yolks beaten in until the mixture frothed, and then could be drunk, the hotter the better. This new drink craze was considered a panacea for everything, particularly disorders of the gut, but also consumption, jaundice, plague, and something called green sickness. It was also far from cheap, so it became a fashionable habit for the wealthy to consume this delicacy, and chocolate houses were frequented by royalty and notables alike. The places that served this drink became known for anarchy, licentiousness, gambling, hobnobbing, and politicking. However, the establishment known as White's would rise above this and transition from a tea shop to an exclusive gentleman's club, which became notorious in its own way as a gambling house. Those who frequented it were known as the Gamesters of White's. The club had gained a reputation for both its exclusivity and the often raffish behaviour of its members, being referred to by a famous Irish dean as the bane of half the English nobility. As the oldest and most exclusive gentlemen's club in London, its members have included more earls, dukes, lords, barons, princes, knights, viscounts, marquises, heads of industry, and notable politicians that you could shake a stick at. The name we're interested in, though, is that of Lord Edward Grosvenor, the youngest son of the first Duke of Westminster. After attending Eton, Grosvenor took to a life in the military by throwing himself in at the deep end. He joined the French Foreign Legion, notorious for its tough training, but also its traditional military skills and strong esprit de corps. From there, he transferred his loyalty to the Royal Horse Guards as a second lieutenant, before, at the outbreak of the First World War, joining the Royal Flying Corps. His conduct as a pilot saw him being awarded the Military Cross for outstanding bravery. After the war, Grosvenor was in his beloved club, enjoying his favourite pastimes, eating, drinking, and gambling. However, he had some challenging hobbies and possessed his own aircraft. Although he didn't much like motor cars. He actually employed an old military colleague to drive him around in a Morris taxi for £2 a day. He was, however, adventurous enough to take part in the 1924 Gordon Bennett balloon race, along with squadron leader Baldwin in the British balloon Banshee 3. In the same year, he took charge of the British team that competed in the Schneider Trophy, held in the United States. The aircraft race never actually took place, as both British machines, including R.J. Mitchell's Supermarine S4, crashed in pre-race trials, and no other nation wanted to take on the government-backed American team with their very fast Curtiss Racing biplanes. It was when he was back in White's that Grosvenor had the idea to form a squadron of wealthy, aristocratic young aviators, all of whom were already amateur pilots and members of the club. He reasoned that the RAF needed a part-time air force, which could be called upon in times of need. Since private flying was devilishly expensive, he visioned an elite corps of young men with a thirst for adventure. In fact, Grosvenor's idea was also in the mind of the man whose vision would create the Royal Air Force, Lord Hugh Trenchard. Also an ex-RFC pilot, Trenchard had already proposed a citizen air force, the Auxiliary or Territorial Air Force. Seeing how this might work, Grosvenor brought together like-minded members of White's to test the waters. The original cadre of officers were picked by Grosvenor, who would become their first commanding officer. He had an unusual recruiting procedure, which started with several extremely large glasses of port, followed by a considerable number of gin and tonics. Apparently, the idea was to ensure that the recruits could be trusted not to partake in inappropriate behaviour whilst under the influence. He also wanted men who had sufficient presence not to be overawed by him, and adequate funds to partake of the squadron's practice of habitual and expensive dining. He wasn't shy of blatant nepotism, setting his nephew as one flight commander and the son of the Lord Mayor of London as the other. Owning an aircraft, or at least knowing how to fly one, was essential for membership of this new unit, as well as, of course, being rich and hailing from the right social class. After all, only an officer could fly an aircraft, and only a gentleman could be an officer. One thing should be made clear, however. Grosvenor didn't recruit a bunch of overprivileged fops. With his own extensive military experience, he had no illusions about what kind of men it took to fight a war, and only accepted those who would make the grade. He also looked for attributes other than an aristocratic family, recruiting sportsmen, adventurers, and self-made men as well. 5 auxiliary squadrons were gazetted, 2 in London, 1 in Birmingham, and 2 in Scotland, and Grosvenor took command of number 601 County of London Squadron. They formed at Northolt Airport in North London, conveniently close to their club, White's. They began their conversion onto the Avro 504K at a training camp at Port Limp on the south coast, and soon their neighbours, Noel Coward and Sir Philip Sassoon, a grandson of Baron Gustav de Rothschild, opened their houses to the flyers. Sassoon also happened to be the Under-Secretary of State for Air, and he quickly befriended the squadron, which couldn't have asked for a more influential ally. It was in these neighbouring stately homes that the squadron frequently dined with celebrities such as the Duke of York, Charlie Chaplin, Winston Churchill, Lawrence of Arabia, and such. And the activities of 601 Squadron soon got into the press, who dubbed them the Millionaires Squadron, although the regular RAF chaps would call them the Millionaires Mob. Very soon Grosvenor had penned a symbol for the squadron, a scarlet sword of London sprouting wings at the hilt, which would become known as the Flying Sword. Perhaps by design he left out the usual ribbon beneath the crest, which commonly carries a motto. But despite this, it was passed by the Royal College of Heralds and made it instantly recognisable amongst the usual squadron crests. Grosvenor soon gained a reputation for being a casually friendly, humorous and fun-loving commander that endeared him to his men and fellow officers. Each man who joined 601 was impressed by his honest, magnetic personality and became devoted to him. He also made a point of ensuring that the many off-duty antics were balanced by a serious attitude to the art of war, as he fervently wanted his squadron to be acknowledged as one of the best. His men loved to hear his stories about the Foreign Legion, and he fostered the same esprit de corps as he had learned fighting with them. Such was his success that in their first year of existence the unit won the Lord Esher Trophy for the most efficient squadron. Grosvenor was not to see the fruits of his labours, however, as he died suddenly from an illness at the age of only 36. His friend, Sir Philip Sassoon, was given the task of replacing him, a job for which he was well placed. With his political connections, Sassoon was able to ensure that No. 601 Squadron was protected from any major criticism of their activities. He could also offer his pilots a stable of private aircraft to use, and he even built his own flying strip in the grounds of his stately home at Trent Park. Some of these aircraft suffered a little from over-exuberant flying escapades. One chap landed Sassoon's Tiger Moth on top of a cow when returning at night, and the next morning, on spying his predicament, a friend landed the Spartan biplane, which cost a pretty penny, so close to him that he promptly ran into the back. This was explained away when the pilot blithely claimed that the Moth had reversed into him, and, delighted with the excuse, Sassoon paid both bills for repairs. With an air of extravagance, Sassoon led the way with some flamboyant displays of dubious military dress. He had his uniform lined with red silk, wore a blue tie, not the regulation black, and had bright red socks. His officers followed suit, and with their penchant for flashy sports cars and the latest motorbikes, the squadron premises soon looked like a Concorde d'Elegance. The one thing that their new commander couldn't do very well, however, was fly. Eventually, a central flying school instructor was posted in with the sole purpose of getting the squadron commander safely into the air and, more importantly, back again. A popular game was for some of the pilots to get airborne in the two-seat Avro 504 and then change cockpits in mid-air. This was all well and good until one chap tried it with a brand new pilot, and it wasn't until the instructor got into the recently vacated cockpit that he realized that it didn't contain a vital ingredient, a stick. The pupil wasn't game to try to swap again, so he had his first landing unexpectedly thrust upon him, whilst his mentor in the back shouted at him, "Christ, I've got no stick! For God's sake, don't crash!" Although the Millionaires had a reputation for escapades and flouting the rules, they could not have got away with it without being an efficient and effective unit. They were very serious about their flying and fighting, because many of its members had visited Germany and Austria in the 30s and had seen what was growing there. This included the famous American Billy Fisk III, who had been competing in the 1936 Winter Olympics in Garmisch, Bavaria. It was there that he met a 601 Squadron member, Roger Bushell. Bushell was a barrister at Lincoln's Inn in London who excelled at cricket, rugby and winter sports. He would go on to command No. 92 Squadron, and after surviving being shot down, he would lead the Great Escape from Stalag Luft III. He was subsequently murdered by the Gestapo. Over drinks, Bushell told Fisk that the Germans must be stopped, and he was convinced that war was coming. He explained about 601 Squadron, and Fisk was intrigued. Shortly before the outbreak of war, Fisk sailed to England, pretending to be a Canadian. As an American citizen, he duly pledged his life and loyalty to the King and joined the Royal Air Force, was trained to fly, and ultimately posted to 601 Squadron, now based at RAF Tangmere near the south coast. Recently equipped with Hurricanes, the Millionaires Squadron would soon be in the thick of it, flying and fighting in the Battle of Britain. During one scramble, the squadron destroyed 8 Ju-87 Stuka dive bombers, but a gunner put a bullet through Fisk's fuel tank. Instead of bailing out with his hands and legs on fire, he returned his machine to Tangmere, where medics had to extract him from his cockpit. The aircraft blew up shortly after. The brave American, who had given up so much to fight the Nazis, died in hospital of surgical shock. His flight commander said of him, "In all my flying experience, I've never come across a pilot with such completely natural flying ability and quick reactions." His coffin, covered with both the Stars and Stripes and the British Union flag, was laid to rest at Boxgrove Priory Church. Inscription on his gravestone reads, "He died for England," and a plaque was placed in the crypt of St. Paul's Cathedral in London, which states, "An American citizen who died that England might live." Another of the more colourful millionaires was the Canadian Sir John William Maxwell Aitken, a second baronet, and the son of the press magnate Lord Beaverbrook. Max joined the squadron in 1936 and rose to command the Millionaires Mob in 1940. He was a talented sportsman, a university blue at football and a scratch golfer. During the latter part of 1940, a period that would become famous, the pressure on the RAS fighter squadrons was intense. Those like 601, which was based on the front line, particularly so. The pilots were flying from dawn to dusk on those long summer days, and Aitken remembers his Air Officer Commanding, Air Vice Marshal Park, visiting the base. He wrote in his logbook, "Flew 5 hours before lunch. The AOC asked, 'Are you tired?'" Aitken would move on to another squadron, but not before he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross. By the end of the war, he would have been mentioned in dispatches, added the Distinguished Service Order, and would be an ace with 16 kills outright and 1 shared. The Millionaire Squadron would eventually change in character as attrition and postings replaced many of the flamboyant members that had initially given the unit the flavour of a Playboys flying club. Replacements were drafted in from all walks of life and all parts of the Commonwealth to cover casualties and promotions. The squadron became as cosmopolitan as any other. However, some habits die hard, and on returning from early morning sorties, many still made radio calls to their base with their individual breakfast orders. Bacon, egg, sadly only one due to rationing, beans and tomatoes. But the practice really annoyed the station commander. He considered it a misuse of radio communications and demanded it stop. And so it did for at least 2 days. Tentatively, however, it resumed, and no further complaints were made, particularly when it was rumoured by 601 Squadron that Churchill liked it. Knowing that the Germans intercepted the transmissions, Churchill apparently wanted them to know that food rationing wasn't a concern for the fighting forces of Britain. The argument that the part-timers of an auxiliary Air Force squadron couldn't cut the mustard of real flying and fighting was truly blown away by the performance of 601 County of London Squadron, and the same could be said about the other auxiliary squadrons. When, because of budget cuts, 601 was finally disbanded in 1957, the Millionaires were flying the Gloucester Meteor, having moved into the jet age. However, more recently, the squadron was reformed at RAF Northolt, its first home, in 2017 as a specialist support squadron. It has the unique role of formalising links between the Royal Air Force and the wider professional community, such as the Honourable Company of Air Pilots and the Worshipful Company of Actuaries, particularly within the City of London, where it all began.
That's some great playing there, Nick.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I have to keep winding it to keep the piano going.
It's one of those player pianos with the...
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought you were tickling the ivories there.
No, but I can sing along to that tune.
We know that you know some alternative lyrics, apparently.
I know some very amusing lyrics to that. Yeah, that particular tune. Perhaps for another time.
Right after the show ends, I think you should sing it.
Yeah, the post-show, maybe. I don't know. That would probably still get us kicked off YouTube, but
well, we get you lose your G rating, I think, is the
that's
problem.
true. Yeah, you can be explicit. I guess we'd have to put an explicit tag on our show if you did that. Oh well. Anyway, really interesting stories there of the 601, and really amusing.
In particular, Sorry, yeah.
In particular the 601. I know it was more than that, but the switching cockpits and finding that the control stick wasn't there. Wow.
I actually ended up buying a book about 601, and there were just so many of those stories that I just had no room to fit them in and still tell the story, but they're absolutely hilarious. They were just a bunch of complete reprobates. But the marvellous thing was that, when they took to the air, they really were very serious about their job. But they were rich playboys all the other, days of the week. So, what do you expect? They had more money than they knew what to do with. And the Air Force gave them all these airplanes to play with. So they were having a ball. Yes, absolutely. But, when war came, they were there and they fought and they did a damn good job. And, you've got to admire them for that. That's for sure.
Did you find yourself identifying with this particular squadron?
No, because I was brought up relatively modestly. But I'm sure you do because, that American Billy Fisk, the third... he was a fine chap, and
but you're saying that I have no flying skills is what you've basically just said. Thank you very much.
No, I don't think I did that.
Because I think Fisk, didn't you say he didn't have very good?
No, you misheard. Fisk was described as by his flight commander as the most natural pilot he'd ever met.
Well, there was one of them that didn't.
It was to their squadron commander, Sassoon.
Okay.
The second squadron commander, who became the boss of a squadron, but he couldn't fly very well. Actually, he was just landing. He couldn't land. He couldn't land.
Okay, well, I feel better now. So
he can fly.
No.
Fly, yes. Land, no.
Yeah. No, Fisk was a very brave man. And, I admire... I think that there were only about 7 Americans who came across during were there fighting with us in the Battle of Britain, who had to, risk their own citizenship in order to come across, because America was still a neutral country, and they had to pretend they were Canadians or whatever. And had the American authorities found out about it, they could have lost their right to return home, that sort of thing. So they were, putting themselves not only in physical jeopardy, but they were possibly affecting the rest of their lives. Of course, as it turned out, you guys got dragged into the war, and all bets were off. They were able to then to go and fly for the Army Air Corps.
Well, it's amazing what a very large glass of port and many gin and tonics will, or just gin,
yes,
will do.
I thought that was great. Oh, dear.
Great stories. I loved it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Get that book from you. That sounds like an interesting book.
Sadly, it's Kindle, so
okay.
I don't know if I can send.
Well, then
that
I can get it myself.
You can get a copy.
On Kindle.
His own.
Yeah,
I'm wondering
£3.99.
I'm wondering if that's something that is in the APG library. Tiffany?
I don't know actually.
Yeah, we got to make sure that's in there. Okay.
Yeah, it would be. It's a fun read. It's a fun read.
Excellent. All right. Well, that was fun. Thank you again, Captain Nick, for that. And only 8 minutes left, Liz is telling us. So let's quickly get on with this story. This is sent in from by Jez. Greetings, APG crew. Oh, I'm sorry.
Number 11?
I skipped it. I'm sorry. I had already preloaded this, and I was thinking we'd already done it. But okay, let's do number 10, Texas Anla'Shok. Conversation on the Civil Air Patrol. It's a YouTube video. Just wanted to share a little video that came out recently. I've shared tidbits from this channel before. Drakenfell? I don't know. How would you pronounce that? Drakenfell?
With confidence.
Yes.
Drakenfell.
Drakenfell. That's the way you pronounce it.
Yes.
I'm sure of it. Which usually discusses naval history. But this week, the topic was the Civil Air Patrol in a conversation with Dr. Frank Blazek.
I'm looking at my naval. I don't think it's got a lot of history.
Well, yeah, I think it does, actually.
Oh, okay. It's got a bit of belly button fluff.
Don't want to know.
Yeah, a history that we really don't want to discuss at this time. Okay. A Smithsonian curator and historian emeritus.
Emeritus?
Emeritus, that's it. Historian emeritus of the CAP, Civil Air Patrol. I know Captain Nick had a plain tale about them a while back, but it never hurts to check out other information sources. Yeah, for sure. You never want to rely.
do your own research.
You cheeky rat.
And then he gave us the YouTube link, and we're not going to play this on today's show, but it's there in the show notes if you want to watch the Civil Air Patrol video, Civilians to the Skies. Also, I'd like to offer some clarification and correction on my last feedback. There was some discussion of where the MiG at the Battleship Alabama Museum was, and it doesn't look like I have a picture of it. Checking out the official website, it turns out it's a MiG-17, the one that looks almost exactly like the F-86 Sabre. It also turns out they don't actually have an SR-71. It's actually an A-12 Oxcart, the Blackbird's CIA cousin. Anyway, just wanted to clear that up. Clear skies and tailwinds. This is the Texas Anla'Shok signing off. Very good. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to wrap it up according to our control room with this final one with Jez, number 11. Greetings, APG crew and fellow APG crew wannabes. It seems like Groundhog Day has come early at the Washington Dulles International Airport. The Transportation Security Administration, is that right?
Acronyms are dangerous. Yeah.
I know. I should just say the TSA, Groundhog Whisperer, rescues a groundhog at Washington Dulles International Airport. There's a link here from the TSA.gov news press release. Don't be alarmed, readers from the UK, when the gentleman quotes, "I ran him down." He didn't actually run him over. Well, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so either.
No.
Thanks, folks, as always, for keeping us informed, entertained, and educated. Stay safe, Jez. And why don't you pop that overlay up there, Liz, if you don't mind, and we can look at our TSA Groundhog Whisperer. This is explosives detection canine handler Shelby Tibbs rescued a groundhog who he spotted scurrying around the airport runway at Washington Dulles International Airport as he finished a round of training with his canine Dux, a German short-haired pointer. Tibbs spotted the groundhog run for cover and was concerned for the safety of the animal, so he drove to where he spotted the groundhog, who he said appeared to be suffering under the hot sun. It was really hot that day, and the tarmac felt like more than 100 degrees with the heat index, he said. Tarmac. I ran him down, wrapped the leash around him several times, and picked him up. Tibbs was careful to wrap the leash around the groundhog's mouth so it would not bite. Tibbs has a background in animal control, and he has his rabies inoculation, and was very careful handling the animal so as not to harm him. Dux stayed in Tibbs' air-conditioned truck, the dog, while he worked with personnel from the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority Operations Division to transport the groundhog to a creek just outside the airport property where the animal was safely released. I think he wanted to catch a flight to someplace cold because it was a very hot day. I guess he couldn't buy a ticket, he joked, but he was a very good passenger while we drove to the nearby creek. Wildlife on airport runways are a risk to their safety and to the safety of airplanes and other vehicles that move along airport operations areas along the tarmac and runways. I'd like clearance to get to the runway. Can we use the tarmac? No. Tibbs said he was glad to lend a help to the lost groundhog. Airport personnel have since dubbed him the Groundhog Whisperer. So it's a nice feel-good story to end with. So good going there, Shelby, for rescuing the groundhog, which is apparently...
I'm just curious. Does the groundhog feel good?
Yeah. What's that?
I was just curious. Does a groundhog feel good?
Yes. Have you ever felt one?
No.
You should.
I don't think I want to. It looks like it would have your finger off.
That's why he had the leash through the mouth.
Yeah.
Let him chew on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one did. How about another groundhog that I might get my
I don't know.
hands on?
Punxsutawney Phil seems relatively
they seem
harmless.
pretty tame, didn't they?
Yeah.
At least
he just kind of, he's like always just being held up, looking for a shadow, and seems half asleep most of the time, but, you know.
Bill Murray didn't seem to have a problem with the groundhog in that movie. Brings me back to a potential show title, Runway Gopher. Okay, that's an idea. Okay, well, Runaway Gopher. Runway Gopher.
That sounds even better.
Yeah. Anywho, that's going to do it for at least part 1. And this is the part of the show where we normally start wrapping up, but we're not wrapping up the show. Really, we're just ending up part 1. Part 2 to come. So soon, by the magic of podcasting, you'll hear the dulcet tones of Miami Rick. And with that, wishing you all clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. Take care, and God bless for now.
Until next time. Cheers.
From the cockpit, bye-bye, everybody.
You look very comfortable there.
He does.
It's
a good fit for him.
Yeah, it's great lighting too. You have in that cockpit.
Yeah,
it's all those displays. You know, they're very bright.
Yeah, could be. Oh, I need to stop my recorder. I'm surprised that I even thought of it.
2 hours, 2 minutes.
I got 2:01:48.
Oh, I gotta plug in my fridge.
A new version of Audio Hijack is ready to install.
This would be a good time to do it if you felt.
Install and relaunch.
If you're brave enough.
Right. That was fun. And not too late for you there, Nick. Is it 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? It's midnight.
It's nearly midnight.
Yeah.
That's fine. Well, I'm not doing much tomorrow.
Oh, good. Good.
Except the artwork. That's all I'm doing tomorrow.
Okay. Oh, here. Let me put Liz, at least her voice, in the show so you can hear what she's saying. Okay, you're on.
Okay. Have a good holiday, Nick.
Sorry. What was that, Liz?
I said have a good holiday.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I shall. And you're quite correct. I got the fathers of Fisk and what's his name muddled up.
Oh, well,
there you go. That's me.
Nobody would know unless you're watching this right
now.
No,
I didn't do it in the plain tale. I did it in the chit chat we had beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hello. Steph's off already.
Oh, well. See you, Steph.
Bye. Thanks for coming, Steph.
Oh, she's back.
I had to relaunch.
And it just somehow took you out of...
No, so iHellboxes remembered about this. The last time I did that, it messed up all the audio settings. And as soon as I hit update, I couldn't hear or talk to you anymore. Like it muted me, but I couldn't unmute it. It was weird.
Oh, yeah. Audio hijack will do that for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah.
Anyway, it's fixed now and apparently updated.
That one.
Finicky. Yeah, because you look at, I'll do that sometimes, and I have all these sources of audio, and then I'm going, well, I know it's playing, but why doesn't it look like it's coming through here? And then I just turn it off, and then turn it back on, and then boom, it's back. Audio is voodoo, basically.
Absolutely. Photography is much simpler. So we've got so far Groundhog Day, Runaway, Runway, Gopher,
Right.
Vodka Burner. We didn't get onto that, did we?
No, we're holding that one for Rick.
Yeah.
What is Vodka Burner? Is I hope
it's the Aviation 76 taking off from a runway in Australia somewhere. It's really funny to hear the comments by the air traffic controllers in the tower.
Could be Vodka Burner Down Under. We could have that.
Yeah,
I like it.
That's a potential show title. Yeah, I'm sorry, Liz. I was looking over here. I'm listening to you and set you up so you could have your audio in here, and then I went over here to this other machine and closed the browser, the connection that I had to you. That's why I wasn't hearing you. Sorry.
It was sort of like this.
Yeah. I think, ooh, well, that's going. I don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
Quit. Oops.
That's okay. No big deal.
Okay. Well, at least I forced you to join
the
video.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
The one I like actually is Go Around Again Airlines.
Go Around Again.
I like that. Yeah.
That's good. No, that's good. I like it.
Go Around Again. Go Around Again. They're around again.
Comma, around again.
Or we could even go Around Again Airlines.
Go or around
or
again.
Just go around again.
Okay.
Huh?
I'm not getting it.
Go around?
Huh?
Yeah. Well, Go was the old airline, and they're coming back, so they'll be go around.
Well, they
again.
are around again. They go are around again. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Not the letter R.
ARE.
Yes.
ARE.
I was confused. Go.
That's
around
all right.
Again.
Ooh, major
the
thunderstorm
English
here.
isn't your first language. I understand that. That's no problem.
She speaks
American.
Kakalakian.
It's American.
American.
Ooh, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning where Eric is. And
I know.
Norway.
He's been hanging in there.
Oof.
Good man.
Yeah.
He's probably
Why
more
is
awake
it
than I
called
am.
Virgin Airlines? It's not. It's called Virgin Atlantic Airways.
Yeah, get it right.
No
eye-hole
one called it
boxes.
Virgin Airlines. Get your shit in a pile, eye-hole boxes.
This
I
is
saw
why I
that,
could
Liz,
pop you
yeah.
out.
Ooh, that looks
Looks a
colorful.
little
Yeah.
Oh. What
Spicy.
was that? A packet of crisps?
No, we got a big storm coming in here.
Looks like a little.
It's
little
Canada.
rain
You don't
coming.
get big storms in Canada.
Yeah, sure we do.
You have nice weather.
Usually snowstorms, but it's a slight little bit early for that. Just a bit early.
Ah, right.
Anyway, I got my doggy out, so we're all good now.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. She's good for a couple of hours, right?
She should be
that
good.
looks wow.
Yeah.
Pretty nasty, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's a real line. Well, we'll see you on Friday, Jeff, and have a good holiday. And Steffi, you get some sleep there.
I'm gonna go to bed right now.
Yeah, go right now.
7 o'clock.
Yeah, you look like you're actually halfway there already.
I'm pretty close. I'm not gonna lie. I'm tired.
All right. Well, hopefully
All right.
get
Sleep
a good
well.
night's sleep.
Yep.
So have a good trip tomorrow, Jeff. We'll talk.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
So I guess we should end the broadcast then. Here we go.
Yeah.
See you, everybody. Thanks for hanging out
All
with
right,
us.
can't
And,
wait.
it'll be Friday afternoon or Friday evening. Just follow us on the social medias. Bye.
Good
Bye.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
Come on. End.